Arkansas Select Volleyball Club focuses on personal and athletic development of our student athletes and creates a safe, positive, and effective learning environment in which student athletes strive to achieve individual excellence within a team dynamic. We view the volleyball court as our classroom, transformed to teach lessons of character, discipline, respect, responsibility, accountability, commitment, leadership, work ethic, teamwork, courage, integrity, communication, the importance of sacrifice and sportsmanship, plus many other important values on and off the court. Search Arkansas Select Volleyball online or visit our Facebook page, Arkansas Select Volleyball, to find out more.
And finally, a Central Arkansas success story. A salute to my friends of the Natural State Sports Network.
Few people are enjoying calling high school games more than Steve Henson.
25-20, 15, 10, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Give him 6. What a play by the Coyote.
So much fun to be able to call the game with that excitement. The parents love it, the fans love it, the kids just absolutely eat it up. We could get him involved more. That kid's, he's got a ton of talent.
Steve and his partner, Will Watkins, who Steve calls the mastermind, did their first game 5 years ago. Fast forward to 2025, 5 schools now have contracts with the Natural Sports Network.
It was one of those things where, you know, when we started doing it, we had no idea what we were doing. So it was like, hey, we'll do it, and if people think it's cool, then great. There's no way you could have gotten me to believe that we'd be where we are today and the impact we've had.
Good decision by the Bears to hold it right there.
Oh! And they take pride in the quality of their broadcasts.
We want to be able to put out something that's not just, you know, anybody can, with the advent of Huddle and everything else, anybody can put a stream out now. But we want something that that the viewer can enjoy, and from commentary to the angles to the cameras.
All Hornets are headed to Bank of the Ozark Arena on Saturday.
They say the guy behind camera, Will Watkins, searches YouTube on how to do games. And he's been the mastermind behind the whole deal. But
it's quality product.
Yeah, it's a great team over there.
Okay, good stuff, Sully. Thanks very much. We'll be right back.
All right, we begin session 2 of 2026 Big Miller Media Days with the Hamburg Lions led by Blake Johnson. Coach, I will pass it over to you to give your opening statement and introduce who you brought with you.
First of all, I want to thank y'all for having us here. This is a great thing y'all do to get high school kids out, and we're grateful to be here. So I'm going to start left to right. We've got Hunter Harris, senior, defensive end, outside linebacker. We got Brett the Fridge Davis, plays some O-line, D-line for us. He's a senior as well. We got Colt Tubbs, senior slot receiver, and we got Caden Thomas, senior quarterback and free safety.
I got to ask you first, do you know where the Fridge nickname comes from originally?
I'm guessing with how much I eat.
Well, did that come from William the Refrigerator Perry? Or is that, okay.
We just kind of threw it on.
Yeah, 85 Bears. I didn't know if it came from that or not, way before many of our times. But, well, Coach, incredible season last year. I mean, off the top of my head, that's probably, at least one of the better seasons Hamburg's had since the state championship run in the late 90s. Lost, a good bit. I mean, Nykel Lewis being one of the top ones from there, but you bring back a lot of other starters. And so just kind of talk about just the mindset going into this year.
Yeah, so we had a phenomenal last 2 seasons, and these guys were all a part of that. Most of them as sophomores started and then carried into last year. Really good run. Obviously, everybody knows about Nykel Lewis. He was a lot of our offensive production. Losing him is going to make us look a little different because we had a guy we could hand the ball to 30 times. But this year, we got a senior quarterback who started since his freshman year. We've got a really good group of talented receivers, Colt Tubbs, and then we got 6'5" and 6'3" on the outside that both started and played significant roles last year. We lost 2 linemen, returning 3 starters up front, so that's going to help. And then defensively, we returned a lot. Last year, it was hard to tell how good defenses were because the 8-4-8 was so good on offense. But I feel like the experience level, we returned Aiden Robinson and Mike linebacker, second in the state in tackles as a sophomore last year. And just our experience level and our team chemistry this year is a lot better. They're used to winning. They know what it takes to win. And, a 1-point loss in the playoffs to the runner-up in state kind of showed us how close we are, and they've been working all summer to get over that hump.
And Caden being so experienced at quarterback, obviously like Coach said, it's going to be a lot different, as opposed to just handing it off to Nykel 30 times a game or whatever. But, obviously I can imagine knowing the offense, knowing what the standard is of this program, that probably makes it a little bit easier on you coming into your senior season.
Yes, sir. Just me being there for 4 years and knowing the whole offense for the all 4 years I've been playing really helps me out. Knowing the plays, knowing the routes, knowing the receivers, because I've been with them for a while now.
Yeah, for sure. And I'll start with you and just go all the way down. Just talk about some things that, like, once your season concluded, what were some things you sat down and kind of looked yourself in the mirror and, like, I need to work on this throughout the offseason to improve for 26?
Really to work on my passing game, losing man, and really getting in with the receivers and taking our time, working on our routes, working on our plays, and just being better as an offense. And then on my defensive side, we allowed way too many points last year of my liking, and I just think we can do better as a team. Our D-line's gotten a lot better, our secondary, and we got all-conference corner as a freshman coming back, helping us, me, and then we have the 6'5" receiver we had, he's playing safety for us too, just getting better.
Improvement would be like, I feel like I need to lead the team more because we lost a bunch of seniors and 2 D1 players, so I need to step up in my role as a receiver and try to coach up all the young guys and help them get better this year.
The biggest thing for me is probably being vocal. A locker room full of crickets isn't a good team, so I feel like I really need to step up being vocal as a leader.
I would say communication, just all around. We kind of liked that last year. Some people were on different pages, some people were on other pages. I think our defense is really good, and we're working a lot on communication. Off season, that's all we did was work communication.
Coach, like you said, the 8-4-A scored a lot of points, and it was really 2 games that did the season, the close game to Stuttgart and then eventually at Dardanelle. What can you say these guys have done, and players y'all get on this too, what has been some steps you have taken in the offseason to push and get over that hump?
I would think, just Dardanelle game, we'll start with that one. We've really focused on finishing. That was a battle, back and forth, 2 really good football teams, and, we broke one and scored, and I think there's about 1 minute and 40 seconds left, and we just got to go out and finish the game. Even when they score, 30 seconds left in the game, stop them on a 2-point conversion. So that's been kind of I've challenged these guys, when your back's against the wall, what are you going to do? Same thing with Stuttgart. That was kind of a game of who was going to get the ball last, and they have some phenomenal players, and just these guys, the role that they've stepped up. I put a lot of pressure on my guys when they play. I want them, we got some college football players up here, and I want them to get that experience now that's going to help them at the next level. And I challenge them as far as, studying film, knowing situations, what's coming, and I really put pressure on them, and they've rose to the occasion so far this summer. So hopefully it goes into the season.
I think when you took this job, I guess after the 21 season, you knew it was going to be an uphill climb. You were coming off of a state runner-up team at Whitehall as DC, and now that you have had last year, then the 8 wins in 2024, and players, y'all can get in on this too. Just how rewarding has that been? I mean, obviously it's always nice when you win consistently, but to know where it was when you got there to now.
And it's a great feeling. I was blessed in my young career to be a part of some really good football teams at Pine Bluff and Whitehall, and I took this job at Hamburg because I saw something special. And I couldn't have done it without these guys. Like I said, most of them were 9th graders, 8th graders when I got there, and they really bought into what I was preaching. And, when I first came in, they probably thought I was crazy. I pushed them really hard, and we tried to change. Everybody uses the word culture, but we just try to change the atmosphere and get a winning mentality. And the community really bought into that as well, and they backed these guys. If you come to Campbell Field on a Friday night, it's crazy. Metal trash cans, student section, it's loud. This past year, there was thousands of people at the game, and that's because of these guys. They put in the work. They get out in the community, and then they got a taste of what it means to win, and they don't want to look back.
And guys, you heard Coach talk about how back and forth the Stuttgart game was. I guess that was in week 10, and then Dardanelle falling to the eventual state runner-up. From the players' perspective, how did that really show you? And I mean, really playing in the 8-4A and how well you guys competed there, I think that kind of showed you could play with just about anybody, but especially against Dardanelle and a team like that, and just a phenomenal second-round matchup, just showing that you guys could play with anybody in the state.
It was really a hard-fought game because those 2 games were probably the longest games I've ever played in my seat, in any point in my career, and just being able to stick into the game, playing both ways. A couple of times I did catch a cramp. I had to take a little mustard and stuff. But just being able to fight through those 2 games, and including Warren, that was a hard-fought game too. Just being able to stay in the game and fighting and coming out as best as we could.
Yes, sir. It felt really good making it to the second round, but we did that the past year, so we just got to get over this hump. And the team has changed a lot, but we're just the same lines that we were a year ago, 2 years ago. Just a bunch of hillbillies down there from Hamburg, Arkansas. So we'll make it farther this year, and we're gonna have a good season.
I really enjoyed winning a lot because my freshman year we didn't even go to the playoffs, so it felt good to be able to go to the playoffs like we have. But I don't know about anybody else, but I'm about tired of just being second round. Coach says it all the time. Second round ain't good enough, so I'm trying to make a change this year.
Yeah, I think every game's a hard-fought game. We work our butts off every day in practice in the weight room off season. It's just every day we go in, put in the work. And yeah, our team's more reliable than the Toyota. So I think we can get it done this year and make something happen and go to the championship. I believe in this team.
I like that, more reliable than Toyota. And Coach, I know look, as competitors, it's anytime, any place, anywhere. I think you guys traveling to Gravette, had to be the longest road trip of anybody in the state that year. But you stay, even in your non-conference, you kind of stay around the southeast area. How much easier does that make? And again, I hate using the word easy in sports in any capacity, but just being able to not have to travel all that way, especially with how brutal your conference is.
It's a good thing because, I've been a part of teams when I was at Pine Bluff where we go to El Dorado, you go to Texarkana, you go to Marion, Mountain Home, West Memphis, and those are just long trips. And for high school kids, you put them on a bus for 5 and 6 hours. You never know what's going to get off the bus, So just having close trips, and I'm big on keeping them locked in and focused. So it's a lot easier to keep 16, 17, 8-year-old kids focused for 2 hours rather than 6 hours. And this year we've changed a little non-conference. I put a couple 5A schools in there. I finally got Whitehall back on the schedule since leaving there, so that'll be a fun, game for me. But I feel like those those big schools that are South Arkansas is just a different style of football. So to go play, you know you're going to get hard in those games. You know you're going to get tough wins, and I think it's going to help us later in the year.
And Caden kind of touched on some of them earlier about like some of the guys you have returning. I think you might have at the top as well. But who are some of the, along with these four, who are some others that you expect to that we will be calling their name this fall?
So offensively, you know, besides these guys, we got two going to be junior receivers, Charles Mooney and Jade Canley. Both have had phenomenal summers. Mooney, we went to Fayetteville, and he had a heck of a day up there and started getting some interest from some colleges. We're going to have kind of running back by committee this year. Our starting running back is who he talked about, Jay-Sean Goodwin, who was all conference as a freshman last year at corner. I threw him in the fire. He was out there guarding guys like Blaze Fellows as a freshman. And, you know, he held his own, so he's only going to be better this year. He's going to travel with everybody's dude, and he's also going to have to run the ball at least 15 times a game. And then the big boys up front, you can't go without talking about them and what we do. We couldn't do anything without them. You got Brett Davis. We got Grayson Herring moving to tackle. He started for us as a sophomore at center. You got Jaden McGarren, who started at guard since a freshman, be a junior. And then Lane Maxwell stepping in at center. Played a little bit last year. So those guys are going to make us go on offense. And then defensively, we return all-conference linebacker Aiden Robinson. I talked about him earlier. He's special. He had big shoes to fill because we had Peyton Sellers before him, and he slid right in and has really showed up, finished second in the state in tackles. I talked about Jay-Sean Goodwin at corner. Darion Brown has stepped into a role at safety. His brother was our leading receiver last year that went to UAPB, so he knows what it takes to get to that next level. And then defensive line, Hunter's younger brother starts at end on the other side of him, and he started at the end of the year after ninth grade year last year as a sophomore. We got Jamaris Wilson, who's had a phenomenal summer. You know, he's shot up. He went from 6'1", 180 to he's 6'4", 250 now. Starting to get a lot of college interest, so we're excited. We got a young team, but a lot of them have played a lot, so it's going to be a fun year.
All right, guys. I know you made a long hike up here. Really appreciate you coming down or coming up.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, up next we've got the Clinton Yellow Jackets led by defensive coordinator Jordan Benson, and I will pass it over to you, Coach, so you can give an opening statement and introduce who you brought with you.
Well, we're really excited to be here, really excited. Thank you guys for what you do, allowing us to highlight our program and the great young men that we have on our program. Had a really good season last year, 10-2, got to the second round of the playoffs, but we graduated 22 seniors. Only have, I think, 5 returning starters coming back. But the thing is, we're really excited about it. We've seen a lot of growth through the off season. These guys have worked really hard in the weight room. We've had some 7-on-7, some team camps. We've seen a lot of growth in that. And so, we're just really excited for what's coming up this year. And I think it's going to be another great year of Clinton Yellow Jacket football. Have with me here, this is one of our guards and our defensive tackle, Eden Cifuentes. And we have here one of our safety / stud linebackers and our wing back, Harold McNabb. And we have our quarterback and our stud linebacker, Braden Venable. And then we have last year, believe it or not, the last 2 years he started at guard, but he's moved to fullback this year, and he's also our will linebacker, Hayden Jones.
Hayden, I'll just go ahead and start right there because it's really interesting. Growing up in Clinton, you're going to run the wing tee. That's what you're going to do. So blocking is not. So I know you'll probably get the ball a little bit more now too, but blocking is not something that you're a stranger to. So just talk about just that switch to fullback.
Yeah, it's a big change, but I've always said that I've wanted to run the ball, and finally getting to do that is just great. But understanding what the offensive line is going to do and how our offensive line runs is really going to help me running the ball this year. And I'm just excited to finally change and run the ball now.
Hey, Coach, that's another thing. Wing tee, tough defense, just hard-nosed football. That's what Clinton. As long as Chris Dufresne's been there, that's what I've kind of known Clinton as. And you, as the defensive coordinator, leading that unit. I'm not sure exactly what is it. About 5 starters you've got returning there.
Yeah.
Just kind of talk about that side of the ball and just the pride that y'all take in stopping people.
Yeah, I've been the defense coordinator for 3 years now, and our first year we took some lumps. So I think we were bottom 10 in the state. But the last 2 years we were top 10. A couple of years ago we were top 5 in the state on points given up last year, and so. But a lot of those guys are gone. But the great thing about it is that these guys, they had a lot of playing time. Second half of games the last couple of years. And so they have some experience, but they've also been going against those guys in practice, which has really taught them a lot. They've learned how to play the defense that we play, our 4-2-5. They've learned what it means to be a great communicator and be physical and 11 men to the football every single play. So, we're a smash mouth. Everybody knows Clinton as a wing tee, physical smash mouth offense, but it's the same on defense. I mean, if you've watched this last few years, we have become really smash mouth, hit you on defense as well. So I think that kind of carries over. I'm glad our offense does that, and we're not spreading it and trying to be pretty all the time. We smash mouth, and that just translates so much to the defensive side too.
You do join a new conference, a new look on the conference. What can you say about your schedule as a whole, and particularly the conference?
Yeah, the part of the state that we're in, sometimes we go to the River Valley. Sometimes we go out east, so every 2-4 years we switch and we kind of see that other side. So we're used to, we've been into conference with Lone Oak a few years ago, and Heber. Of course, they're our rivals. We've played them every year. So we're familiar with most of these guys. I'm excited about it. I think the conferences are pretty similar in the fact that there's no team that's just head and tails above everybody else, but there's also no team that's you can just count on a win every single time that you play them. So it's going to be a challenge every week. 10 weeks we're going to have to play 4 quarters, and
Always like to ask about rivalries, so I was going to bring up Heber Springs. Y'all play them every year, whether it's I think just about every year, even if it is non-conference. I know it means something, and I'll get the players' opinions on this too, but I know it means something regardless, but now that you're playing for postseason seeding, I know that probably adds a little bit more to it as well.
Absolutely, and that's our Week 10 game. So, at that point, we're probably playing for a playoff spot or maybe a better seeding against them. I think they're going to be a pretty good team. I will throw it out there. We have beat them 10 years in a row, so we're going to try to keep that streak alive. pushing on to 11 years. But yeah, I've been a part of several different rivalries, and there's none better than Clinton versus Heber Springs.
I'll start with you down here on the end, just kind of talk about what that means. We've had a few teams in here that we talked about, not just the 3 hours on Friday night, it's a whole week leading up to it.
So like the whole week, we definitely go way harder on Heber week. I'm gonna tell y'all what I told my boys, like on Heber game, like when it comes, I'm gonna give them it all. I'm gonna try hard. But yeah, I'm gonna play really hard. It's gonna be my last game playing Heber. I'm gonna go all out. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's a big thing, not only like us, but to the community. The amount of like money we raise to help the other people in need, and just like the whole week leading up to that, we fundraise and just help out in clubs. And then when we get to practice, like we know like what we got to do, so we just go out there and do our job.
Yeah, this game's gonna be really big because like every year I've been in Clinton, we've always played and we always won. So I feel like it's just like a thing that we should go and win that game and give it all. And it's a conference game, so it's gonna be a big game this year.
Yeah, I mean, as long as I can remember, since I was little, at least in Pee Wee, we've always played them. It's always been a rivalry, and getting to play them again on our senior year is just great. And now that it is a conference game, which makes it a bigger game, and on week 10, which could possibly put us into the postseason, it just makes the game so much more special throughout the week. And yeah, it's going to be a good game.
And Coach, you talked about just graduating so many different seniors. What have you seen just from the coaching standpoint of just how some of the younger guys have bought in that, maybe are having to step up a little bit before they might be ready to do so?
Yeah, the best example I can give you that is we have our secondary, a lot of our new people. We've had a couple injured. Harold's been out this summer and stuff, and so we've had 10th graders stepping in who've never really done what we do. I mean, they do a little bit of it in junior high, but they don't get the full grasp of what we do until they get to senior high. And we had a 7-on-7 in July in Benton, and we went 0-4. I mean, I think we gave up 160 points on the day. It was just a really, really bad day. But they kept working. They got better and better. And then last week we had a 7-on-7 there at Clinton, and we were in the championship game. So it just shows you how much that they have grown. And really, all the younger guys, all the underclassmen have done that, and we've seen great strides that they've taken. And, just learning to be, one of the things on defense that we preach is being communicators, being great communicators. And just being able to see them grow and do that and understand that is really exciting. And it's not just the secondary, it's every part of the defense that you've seen that growth from. So really excited about it.
And kind of building on that we'll start down here again. Just talk about something, maybe one or multiple things that after last season you were kind of like, okay, I probably need to improve on this, work on it a little more. What are some of those things you guys have worked on?
I would say like, I don't really know.
Well, at the end of the season last year, I ended up getting injured and I had surgery. So just going through all this summer, I mean, I felt like it was a big deal getting stronger and faster. And it was like, I don't know, just to come back and play for my team, it just means a lot to be able to say I could play this year.
Last year I played mainly fullback, and moving from fullback to quarterback this year, I've been working on like my accuracy, getting back to throwing the ball. I haven't thrown the ball in a little bit, but I've been doing a lot of hard work so I can step up and that role on offense.
I got hurt in the off season, and that's kind of put me out, and I realized that I can definitely grow in my ability to coach my other players. I mean, going into my senior year and being a 2-year starter, I can really help other people succeed in places that they need help on. And as someone that hasn't got to do as much as I can in the off season, I've really found my place to be a big supporter and to help out my younger teammates that really need me and need the rest of us to step up and help them.
And as we wrap up here, I always like to, I've asked, I think, every Clinton coach about this at one point or another, but this community support, I mean, it seems like with there, it's along with a few other programs just at another level, you know, regardless of whatever the sport is, and anybody can answer this that chooses, but just talk about the support that y'all receive on Friday nights, maybe in other athletics, just in general. I mean, it seems like it's pretty high up there.
Well, I'll just say that, yeah, Jim Tumlison Field is a special place to play. I've coached at lots of different places around the state, and there's no other atmosphere like Jim Tumlison Field. You know, from our commentators to our radio guys to the hundreds, thousands of people that we see in the stands every Friday night. It's so good to have that community support. Anytime we need something, we have people in the community we can go to. You know, and they get it for us. You know, there's never any question. You need it, Coach. Here it is. We got it for you, and that makes our job a lot easier. Makes their job a lot easier. So, yeah, absolutely. Community support is paramount for our success.
Yeah, I feel like the community of Clinton, like even in the summer, like everyone knows that they can come ask like the football team for help. Like there was someone asking if they could help, like have us move a hanger, like some stuff. And 2 of our football players went and helped, and they just know that we'll always be there, in season or out. And like I just love how they just always show up at the games. Yeah.
Guys, really appreciate y'all coming down. Great job.
Thank you.
All right, up next we've got the Benton Panthers led by head coach Brad Harris. Coach, I will pass it over to you to give your opening statement and introduce who you brought with you.
All right, Brad Harris, head football coach at Benton High School, and excited to be here again. Anytime we get to start coming to some media days, it's almost football time. So it's going to be a great year for the Benton Panthers, and I'm excited to be here. First of all, I want to introduce some of the guys that I've got here today. From on my right, out here on the far side, we have senior quarterback Chase Cobb. Next to me, we have senior linebacker Weston Monson. On my immediate left right here, we have senior linebacker Bryson Mattia. And all the way out to the left, I have our starting left tackle, senior Madison Hurd. Okay, so 2026 is going to be a good year for the Benton Panthers. We're excited about it because of young men like I brought with me today. We've got 4 guys coming back on the offensive line. We've got a defensive front coming back, and so we're excited. Anytime as a coach you can build from the trenches, that makes it a lot better for us. So. We're pumped about this season, upcoming season, and it's going to start with those guys up front. But the guy that's to my far right, Chase Cobb, I can't say enough good things about him. He's been behind a really good quarterback in Drew Davis for the last 2 years, and I've made this comment on record several times. I think he's maybe going to be the best kept secret in the state of Arkansas at quarterback. He's a fabulous young man, faith-based young man that is a leader on our football team. So I'm excited to have him lead our football team this year, and I think we're going to pick up right where we left off. Weston is a guy that is committed to Harding University, and he is an outstanding football player and also an outstanding young man. Led our team in tackles last year at linebacker, and when you got guys like him and Chase that are leaders on your offense and defense, it's easy to be a good football coach, and so I'm pumped about that. And then Bryson is also a guy that started last year at middle linebacker for us, and is one of our team leaders. He's also a wrestler, so that tells you a little bit about his toughness, playing linebacker and wrestling. Madison is a guy that will be a 3-year starter for us. Started about halfway through his sophomore year on the offensive line on a senior-laden team. And he's done nothing but be very consistent for us, and looking forward to him leading our guys this year up front also. So that's kind of a little bit of an overview of some of the things for the Benton Panthers. And I don't know, you got questions or anything, or?
So 6A is probably the most open classification. Obviously, you have Greenwood go down, Shallow go up. What can you say about 6A as a whole?
Well, from what I gather, I mean, we have the bullseye on our back. A lot of people, with Greenwood moving down and Shallow moving up, we've been very consistent the last several years. We've been to the semis the last 4 years and have been beaten by some good football teams. And we've been right there. We just haven't played our best game. But I'm excited about this upcoming season. If you told me Greenwood and Shallow were in the mix, I would still put us up there also. I really like our football team. Like I said, I got a great nucleus up front, and then we got guys like Chase, and we got a running back, Brendan Murdoch, things like that, but that are senior heavy guys. But I think our conference is going to be one of the most competitive conferences in the state. When you look at us, Sylvan Hills, what they did last year, El Dorado is going to be a team that's going to be very competitive. Coach Kelly has Sheridan rolling down there right now. They've looked really good in some summer stuff. You got Searcy that's coming in from 5A. That went 9-2, I think, on the year last year. Zach Clark does a tremendous job with them. And then you've also got Marion, that was one of the most athletic teams we saw last year in West Memphis. I mean, so there's going to be some very good teams in the 6A East. And then in the West, I think Mountain Home will probably be one of the teams to beat over there. I think that conference is wide open over there, though. But I think the 6A East is going to be a dogfight each week.
Chase, you're kind of an anomaly in a sense that when you're a quarterback like yourself that could play at other places, they usually, after the season, they go somewhere else. But you've stuck with it. You've been behind Drew the last 2 years, and now you're getting the ball. Just talk about that patience, that you had to show, and just the growth that you've had through those 2 years.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it was hard at times. I mean, I really thought that I could have played at other places, but I just knew that this is where I wanted to be, and I had such a connection with my coaches and I just felt like keeping my head straight with not just football, but with my faith, and just knowing that God's going to have me in the right spot, and that, or when it was my time, it was going to be my time. And I got a chance to play a little sophomore year, and I got a chance to rotate in a quarterback and receiver in different places last year. And I just wanted to, I didn't want it to be about me. I wanted it to be about the team. And I'm really glad for how it's worked out, and I'm ready for this year where I get the keys to the car, I guess.
Chase, I want to follow up on that a little bit too. Knowing you, knowing your family, I know that you're a Benton kid, Benton guy. You guys have been there pretty much your whole lives. We talk about some of the smaller schools and that small town kind of feel, but Benton still has that feel even as a 6A school. Just talk about how special it is to get to be the starting quarterback at Benton and lead Benton.
I think it's awesome. I think back as Coach Harris mentioned Drew Davis, and it was like everybody knew who Drew Davis was, and I just think that's kind of a cool aspect. But also being kind of in a bigger school, getting to play a little bit better competition each week, and I just think that it's really awesome to be able to come back to a small town, even win or lose, and just have like a really good core support system of so many people, but then also just being able to fill a place on Friday nights. I think it's just an experience unlike any other in the state.
I'm going to piggyback off what you guys are talking about. This guy could have gone to a lot of schools and played last year. He would have been last year's football schedule. This guy could have started for almost anybody we played against. And he showed his commitment and his loyalty to Benton, and that's a big step. You don't see that in today's society. Like you mentioned, Kyle, I mean, there's kids they're picking schools and trying to go there to play, and we've had, when Drew Davis left, there was people that was like, hey, I might think about coming to Benton. I let them know early on that we got our guy, and he can tell you after the Greenwood game, I walked up to him and put my arm around him and handed him the keys to the car. That's how confident we are in this guy. We're not worried about a quarterback competition or anything. We've got a couple of young guys that are going to play quarterback, but this is our quarterback, and we've known that for the last 2 years. When he came in as a sophomore in Week 10 at Marion for a conference championship and threw for 360 yards as a sophomore to win a conference championship, and then in the first round against Lake Hamilton to throw for 340, we knew what we had in Chase. So we feel really good about that situation.
And if your league isn't tough enough, I mean, why'd you ease up so much on the non-con? No, seriously. I mean, obviously Bryant in the Salt Bowl, right. Hot Springs Lakeside, the 5A runner-up, and then also Joe T. Robinson, the 5A champion. So you guys are going to be very, very tested early. Not that you're not, like I said, playing Bryant at the beginning every year, but that's about as tough as it gets.
Well, we play the best team in the state of Arkansas to open the season since I've been here for 12 years, and people can debate all they want about that, but that is a fact, okay? And not many teams have had a lot of success against them, just like we haven't. But I get asked all the time, Coach, when are you going to beat Bryant? Well, when's anybody else going to beat them? That's the key. But I feel like in order to be the best team in our conference, we need to play a really good non-conference schedule. And, last year we had North Little Rock and Parkview, and a lot of people didn't think that was as tough, but I'm telling you what, North Little Rock is back. Last year they were really good. Parkview's good. We had two very athletic teams this year. We had a non-conference schedule change, and we got the two 5A state championship team. We got Lakeside at Benton, and then we go to Robinson in week 3 of the season. Two really good teams, and we have a lot of hard time finding teams that will play us a lot of times. And we've had some really good years at Benton. We've been to the semis 4 years in a row, so not everybody wants to play us either. But we've been trying to get together with Lakeside for the last several years, and it worked out to where Coach Rock and I found an open date that we could agree on. So I think that's going to be a heck of a ball game for us, crowd-wise and everything. And then also Robinson, one of the premier teams in Central Arkansas. Coach Uppergrove's done a tremendous job following Coach Escola, but they'll get us ready for the 6A East, that's for sure.
And you mentioned, the Bryant game and stuff, and obviously, Bryant's Bryant, but still the Salt Bowl's a big thing. I'm a Saline County resident. I know exactly how important that game is to the community overall, but was it different? Last year was the first year that y'all haven't played at War Memorial in years. What was that, kind of the difference in that? I mean, obviously a smaller venue and everything, but now that it's back to home and home.
Well, I really like it, Kyle. I think it's more high school feel. You know, when you put 20,000 in War Memorial, it's still kind of got an empty feel a little bit. But we had a little over 7,000 at Benton Stadium last year, and it was a great atmosphere. Our administration did a great job. We brought bleachers in on the south end and enclosed it. And on the north end zone up against our athletic complex, they had a VIP section with a tent, crowd all around us and everything. So they brought the stadium, you know, on top of us. And that was a great feeling to walk out to where our crowd dominated the crowd. You know, when we go to Bryant or to War Memorial, Bryant always has a lot more crowd than we got. Like, we'll go over there this year. But it was awesome to see our fans turn out that night. So love the atmosphere.
And to the players, we'll start on this end this time. Just talk about some things that, you know, at the end of last season that you felt, hey, I need to work on, I need to focus in on throughout the offseason that you've really kind of focused on.
Yes, I'm a very ticklish person, so I got to get back in the weight room, get stronger and stuff like that. Work on the little footwork, stuff like that.
And the reason he's probably saying that is he had shoulder surgery at the end of the year, so weight room hasn't been something that he's been able to turn loose just yet, but he's still a 315-pound bench press kid and a 500-pound squat kid. So, but he's looking to get better at
that. This year, I'm looking forward. Right now, I'm coming off a knee injury. I just had surgery on it. I'm looking to get healthy and back in shape. I feel like a blobfish, not being able to do too much. But other than that, also some mentality, getting a lot more angrier. That's about it.
For me, after that Greenwood game, just an immediate chip on the shoulder. I knew I needed to get in the weight room more. I gained about 15, 20 pounds in the off season. I knew I needed to get faster, so I got those two things down. Obviously, gaining weight, had to eat a couple bananas to get up to the weight I needed to be. But other than that, I'm just ready to play football this year.
I would say just getting the body right and getting the whole mindset right. I mean, or as I said earlier, like I'm gifted that it's finally my time, and just, you know, making sure I got some quarrel in me, you know, some fight, and just, you know, being able to go out there and, you know, take the troops into battle, I guess.
And Coach, you know, in today's world, I think you and I have had conversations about this. It's like you either win a state championship or you do nothing at all. That's kind of just how it is in today's world. But you think about Benton, I think since 2018, y'all have been, other than 20 and 21, y'all have been at least to the semifinals.
Yes,
so
sir.
Always being in contention, there's something to be said about that. So, you know, is that something that you reiterate to your guys? You know, yeah, we maybe came up a little bit short, but we always tend to be in contention.
For sure. When I was hired as the head football coach in 2016, I've been the defense coordinator for 2 years, but one of my goals was to make Benton relevant year in and year out and make us a contender. And one of the goals was to play Thanksgiving week and be in the semifinals, to have that opportunity to possibly play for a state championship every year. And we've been fortunate enough to do that. Like you said, in 2020, COVID actually kicked us out of the playoffs. And then in 2021, we feel like we stumped our toe. You know, we were undefeated conference champion, and Marion came in after the bye week and got us. And that's the 2 years that we've kind of failed, we feel like. But you know, we feel like that we're a team that's going to be a contender every year, and we feel like we got a great chance this year. You know, like I said, we got the bullseye on our shoulders, and we realize that. But these guys that are up here with me are ready for that. You know, we're ready to be the hunted, I guess, so to speak. We talk about the wheat get eaten things at Benton, you know, and somebody's going to try to eat us. They better be pretty strong, because we feel like we're a pretty strong football team this year.
All right, guys. Really appreciate y'all coming over.
All right. Thank you very much.
All right, up next we've got the Sylvan Hills Bears led by head coach Trey Shucker. And Coach, I will pass it over to you to give your opening statement and introduce who you brought with you.
Yeah, players that I've got here, defensive end Ducey James, guard Landon Toney, wide receiver and safety Ryan Parham, and then linebacker George Brown. All these guys are seniors for us. We expect a lot of big things out of these guys. These guys have been really good leaders for us on the team through spring ball and this summer. We've had really good spring ball. I know I got the job back in May, and we pretty much jumped right into spring ball, and we've been going ever since. So it's been football, football, football. The team is really excited for the season. We've been really good at team camp and 7-on-7s, and we're just excited to be able to get the season started.
Yeah, talking about coming in May, you traded in some blue and red for blue and white, and just talk about the transformation to Sherwood and how all that's going for you and your family.
It's been a great transition. Any time you take over a new spot, there's so many things to learn, and everybody's been so great in trying to teach me kind of what's going on, teach me about the players, the team, just the program, kind of how things have been going, and then trying to install kind of things that I want in my vision moving forward. That's the fun part about coaching, putting new pieces of the puzzle together and getting to know the players, getting to know a new team. It's been all great. The team's been very receptive of everything, and it's just been a really good transition overall.
You inherited one of the best turnarounds in state football history with somebody that you were coached with Mark Kelly in 2019 at Searcy. You fill his shoes there. What can you say about just filling his shoes as a whole?
Yeah, it's a great experience, honestly, because me and Coach Kelly have a great history together. We coached together at Searcy. He gave me my first job. And then, kind of parted ways from there. I got to be a head coach at Arkadelphia. And then in a way, it kind of comes back into the same mold of it. He got to Sylvan Hills and got everything going the right direction, had a great season, created excitement, got the players going the right direction. So kind of stepping in, there's a lot of similarities to the program of being able to come in and start installing and implementing what I want for the program. And so that transition has been really good. Coach Kelly was a big part of me making the decision to come to Sylvan Hills. And, he did a great job. Him and the staff were so great on getting everything and getting the foundation set.
6A is arguably one of the most open classifications when you look all around. But the 6A East, you've got multiple new coaches in there. You've got Searcy coming up. You've got them in Week 10. What can you say about your conference as a whole and the classification?
I think it's as competitive as it's ever been. I think our conference is every week is going to be a battle, and it's going to come down to who's healthy at the end of the year and who's been able to keep making progress through those battles, who's been able to learn, through the hard games and keep raising the bar as the weeks go by is really what it's going to come down to. There's not any off weeks in our conference. You look at it, you look across the whole conference. There's good players, there's good coaches, there's new coaches. So it seems like everybody's going through very similar situations. But like I said, it's going to be a battle every Friday night. We got to be ready, and that's why we coach. That's why we play the sport, is to compete and go against the best. And we feel like our conference has it.
And we'll get some from the players here. We'll start it down here on, I guess, to my left. You guys had, as Dalton said, phenomenal tournament, one of the best that we've seen in state history, certainly in the last 30 years. Now that you've experienced that success, you tasted getting to the semifinal, just one game away from state. How hungry are you guys to continue that and just keep building?
I guess I'll start by saying, like you said, we went to the semifinals after 2 failure seasons to say, and going from that, we just want to build off of that and hopefully win it all this year. Like y'all were saying, 6A has a lot of competition, and so it's really just up for whoever really wants it more. And I want the team to early on establish themselves as the hungriest out of 6A for us to be the top dog. So that's what we're aiming for going forward.
First, I think that last season was a success, of course, but everybody has the same goal. Everybody wants to make it to state. Everybody wants to go to state. We didn't make our goal, but now we have another chance. So I think that we want to take it all in and go do what we're supposed to do and go win state.
I feel like the thing we need to do this year is we already know that we can make it to the playoffs. We already know. that we're a very good team. Everybody in 6A is a good team, as y'all said. The thing is, we just need to attack first. We need to get to the point to where we already know we're going to the playoffs. So we need to step it up a little bit, and we need to win state. That's the only thing left to do.
Of course, we took a big leap from last year, but I feel like the job is not finished, and our only objective is to win and go take it all for ourselves.
And Coach, just listen to these answers. You know, we've had Sylvan Hills here the past 2 years and coming off of those over seasons. And, you know, it was really just about talking about winning the game, you know, just trying to start from the foundation. You know, you can hear just how hungry these guys are and are not satisfied after coming off a phenomenal season. So I know that's very good to hear in year one.
No, absolutely. And you know, I know the 0-20 run that happened. I know that kind of keeps getting brought up everywhere that we go. But I'll just tell you, you know, from my time and stepping into the program and seeing the players and seeing the program as a whole, you know, that record and that stretch of games is not a very good representation of these players and the program as a whole. And so I think last year is a better representation of the type of players that we have, the staff that we have, and the program that we have. And it's more of a sense of this is where we're at, and you know, the season that they had last year, it's time to keep taking those steps forward. And like you're hearing from these players, everything has been geared towards taking that next step. You know, the program was close last year. We were in the semifinals, and these players are very hungry to take that next step and try to make it to the state championship game.
And you led Arkadelphia to the state championship in 2024. You know, you and I have talked about many times how brutal the 4A7 conference is, and the out-of-conference teams that you guys played, 5 and 6A schools. How did playing those upper classes and also in that brutal conference prepare you for the 6A East?
Yeah, I think that's just kind of the mentality that I want to bring. And, you know, I've always believed in scheduling good non-conference games. Our non-conference was already scheduled whenever I took over the job, but it aligns with my vision for the program. It aligns with my mentality of what I want our players to be like. You know, our non-conference this year, we play Bryant in a benefit game. We go to Little Rock Central, a 7A school. We play Maumelle Mill, and then we go to Fayetteville, another 7A school. So we are playing upper classification teams and very good competition. And I think that is the only way to go when it comes to scheduling non-conference. I mean, I know our conference is very competitive, and it's going to be a battle every week. But those non-conference games should prepare you for the conference and what's laid ahead. And I think our schedule is laid out that way. Our whole schedule, there's not an off week, and wouldn't want it any other way.
Coach, first off, welcome to Sylvan Hills. As National State Sports and Sylvan Hills Sports Network, we're excited to have you. I will apologize in advance for Jay Burr, Chris Goodman. Good luck with those guys this year. But you're talking about players preparing and getting ready. We looked back to the 0-20, looked at last year. I think one of the big things last year was Tyler Hampton and what he was able to do.
No doubt.
As you look forward to this year, obviously you can't really replace a Tyler Hampton and what he did, but it was a huge surprise to most from the outside looking in how successful he was. Talk about your offense a little bit and just how you guys plan to move forward now without Tyler.
Yeah, and that's the deal too, and that's kind of the message, kind of what you're talking about is kind of my message to this team also is you know, they were so close last year, they made it to the semifinals, but every year is a new team. Every year you graduate players, you get new sophomores, you know, you got to get the team together, you got to put the pieces back together of the team. Tyler Hampton was a big part of that. And, you know, that quarterback position is a huge position for every team that comes and talks and every team that plays football. That quarterback position is going to be one of the main roles. You know, we've got really good ones. You know, we've got a guy that was a backup last year, played under Tyler, kind of saw how he you know, handled it. In Caden Burnett, he's going to be a junior for us this year. Really good pitcher on our baseball team. He got a huge arm. He's had a great summer. He's become more comfortable with our offense. A lot of things aligned with our offense. We've been able to install more things and new things. But the whole philosophy has been the same. Just terminologies have changed. Some schemes have changed. But he's done a really good job of carrying over what he already knew into what I'm bringing to the table also. And so he's done a phenomenal job. I think he's probably going to have one of the strongest arms in our conference or of any team that we would see. And, you know, he's handled that role really well. We bring back a front line that is very talented. We're big up front. we're 5 seniors up on the front line. 3 of those were starters last year. And so we're really excited about what we bring up on the front line. Everything on offense starts with the front line in the run game and the pass game. We've got Ryan Parham was a big part of the offense last year. You have 8 or 9 touchdowns last year?
I think it was 8.
8, yeah. 8 or 9 touchdowns last year. Jeremiah Carey's another one that kind of played in different roles. He started at running back and then he moved out at receiver. He's going to be a big part of our offense also. Zeke Carruthers is another one that's had a big summer for us. Did a great job at 7-on-7 last week at the Harding Sonic Air Raid. He played on defense mainly last year as a sophomore, but now he transitioned into offense. He's been a big playmaker for us. And then Mo Phillips is kind of that hybrid. He's a big tight end hybrid body. He's like 6'6", 215, 220 pounds. We're going to use him at tight end, and then we also flex him out at receiver. And then Caden Williams is another one that's he's a guy that came in and played a lot of snaps last year and had some really good offensive production in some big games. And so we feel like we've got the receiving core to be able to play around our quarterback Caden. And then we bring back all of our running backs from last year. E.J. Duckery's had a great spring and summer that I've seen. Isaiah Howell's another one that has, Isaiah had over 20 touchdowns total last year. So we bring back some production that is really going to be beneficial for offense this year.
Last one I have for the players, and we'll start down here again, just some individual goals that you have for yourself. I know you guys, as you said, you want to take that next step, get to Little Rock, play for a state championship, but now that you have proven to yourself that you can play with just about anybody, what are some individual goals that you've each set for yourself for 26?
I think starting off, I just want to allow the team to be able to beat the doubts. There's a lot of doubts being put on Sylvan Hills right now. I've read a whole bunch of sports magazines and all types of things and heard this and that, and I just know that for what we did, it goes underappreciated, and I just want the team to be appreciated. So I have a whole bunch of things like going out there and proving that we can win the first game and it's not just a fluke, then going on and being in the 6A conference champs, then turn around and get in the state championship. Then like in terms of like just personal goals, I know it's a lot of publicity around me for like football and stuff, so I want to show the coaches that just because I'm a little bit undersized or like just because I'm not the average size for defensive end, so to say, that I can do it and do more. So I'm just sticking my head out on a limb to show that I can prove myself as well. So that's what it is for me.
I have a personal goal of keep moving people. That's what we want up front. We want to make big holes for our O-line. So I don't take as it is an individual thing because our whole O-line has been close to get together since sophomore year. You got Corday, Aiden at center, and then you have Deontay, and then Larry Lee, of course. So I don't take it as an individual thing. I take it as a team thing because our O-line, we're going to move people this year. That's what it comes to when you have a full senior O-line that's big, that's all lifting over 500 on squat and benching over 270. So we're going to move some people, and we're going to create some holes for our running backs to make some big plays, and then we're going to give time for our quarterback. So we want to give our quarterback the most comfortability in the backfield as possible.
I want our team to show that we can be the most vicious team in 6A. We need to be physical, especially because people say that, at the receiver position they're soft or they're prima donnas or whatever. I want everybody to know that Sylvan Hills, their receiver core is going to block. We're going to do everything we need to do to make it to where our running backs can make plays when they're running the ball. We're also gonna play fast, and we're gonna just be the best that we can. We're gonna give you a hard time.
Personal goals are good and all, but I can't do nothing with the other 10 guys on the field with me. My defense is going to attack, and we're going to stop the offense from scoring no matter what it is, and we're going to fight through adversity because big plays are going to happen, but we're going to stay down. We might bend, but we don't break, and we're just going to attack and be dominant on the field.
All right, fellas. Great job. Really appreciate y'all coming.
All right, thank you for having us.
All right, up next we got the Hazen Hornets led by head coach Clay Toddy. And coach, I will pass it over to you to give your opening statement and introduce who you brought with you.
Well, we got Luke Snyder, we got Maverick Snyder, we've got Elijah Powers, and we got Christian Hume. So we brought some of the linemen. I picked these because they were perfect attendance through the spring ball, so it's been a little bit of an adjustment there. So small group of seniors, but these are 4 seniors that are standing for what we want to stand for and trying to revive the Hive.
Most definitely. Well, and first year at Hazen, I guess, 3 years at Wynn and a long time at Rising before that. So just talk, obviously it seems like it's going really well. The kids are buying in, and just talk about how that adjustment's been so far.
Well, I think every transition is slow, whatever it is that you do, and it's never as fast as you want it to be, but we're making progress. We're getting the system in place. Our attendance is improving. Had a great strength program when we came. Good history there. State champs in 22. Coach Basanka was there a long time, did a great job. And we've had a couple down years, which you run into at small schools, and we're just trying to pick that back up to that high level that Hazen's been at in the past.
And so the players will start down here. I can imagine, hearing one of the best names in school history, success-wise, integrity-wise, just across the board, was going to be leading you guys. But when you heard Coach Toddy was coming in, what was that excitement like? And then what's it been like playing for him in the last few months?
It was pretty exciting. Was this mic already on? Oh, my fault. I turned it off. My fault. It was pretty exciting to hear about a new coach, lots of learning to do, and just a new program. Hopefully, some better leadership too. So,
I would like to chime in. I was really excited. Learning from him has really improved me as a player, and he has a lot of belief in us, and it's made me more confident as a player too.
When Coach Toddy came to Hazen, I was really looking forward to it because in the past our seniors didn't really care about the team as much as they should, and I think Coach Toddy is really implementing that.
I just seen it as a new challenge, and I feel like he could really elevate my skill along with the rest of the team, and we could be back where we were in 22.
You mentioned the Revive the Hive. What ways have you taken this program to really try to revive them, to take them to the next step?
Well, it starts with accountability, the intangibles, the leadership. I'm a team builder, and I try to mold men, make better men, and hold each other accountable and play team football. And that's it's tougher to do in society today. It just is. It's just the honest truth. But if you can develop that, you can take less and do more. And so we're a little low in numbers, but we're playing AA football. We're a little low in experience, but we're strong. We got good strength. And we're just trying to play to our strengths. We're trying to figure out, spring ball. We're trying to get everybody in the right position and figure out what our strengths are, and we'll play to those, and make the most out of what we're the best at, and try to eliminate the mistakes and play discipline, football, and revive the excitement. Had 2 losing seasons in a row, and when you do that, it affects your morale. Football can rally a school, it can rally a community, and that's what we hope to do. So when we say revive the Hive, when you're a small town, your school is your town, and your town is your school. It's all interwoven. So we're just looking to bring that excitement back, put a product out there everybody's proud of, bring that togetherness back where we're a team and we're all pulling for each other.
And I had to ask about the schedule because, obviously Carlisle's always on there. You've got Des Arc in non-conference play. We actually had Des Arc in here earlier. But of course, very highly of you guys and Carlisle and just those rivalries. I want to ask the players again, and we'll start from down here again. I think what's Carlisle, one of the things is Highway 70 rivalry, and all these towns that are right next to each other. You grow up playing with these guys and knowing them. Just talk about what those rivalries mean and to play them, within about a month span.
Yeah, we know them really well. They're no surprise to us. We know what they're doing. We know the type of football they play.
So we'll just have to prepare for it and give them their best, give them our best. So
Yeah, we're going to play as a team against them and just play better than we have the past couple of years and give it our all.
Growing up with, Carlisle and Desart, if you work on a farm, you ride tractors around with them and all that. So you get to know them in the game and out of the game. And so they're tough schools to play, but I think we have a good chance to beat them.
Carlisle and Desart, as we've been told every year we've been in high school, if you can't suit up to play any other game, those games will be the ones. And I give it my all, but those different type of games, different type of atmosphere.
And Coach, talking about reviving the Hive and being at the top of the mountain just 4 years ago, 4 years ago, you're a Fordyce native and worked at Rising for a quarter of a century. That's a big rivalry, two football crazed towns, and then you come into a town here that I would call Hazen football craze. There's been a lot of great seasons here, and so just how cool is it? Not that you haven't been at Wynn and all those, but just being at a place like this in the small school setting again. Just talk about that community support.
Well, it's a blessing. It's all the kids, kindergarten through 12. I think we graduated 28 kids last year. So it's small, and the pep rallies. Like I said, it's a exciting time. The big games, you get all your community. We got to get that back. We got to get a community back and get them at those games and get them, behind us and it's nothing like it. Those are great memories that kids will cherish the rest of their life. They'll always remember the Carlisle game. They'll always remember the Desart game. It gives you a boost when things aren't going your way because you got that to look forward to. It keeps you humble when things are going good because you better be at your best when you play your rival. So there's a lot of positives to it. A whole lot more positives than negatives, and we've talked about that. We were embarrassed by them last year, and we've got to embrace that challenge. You got to look forward. You got to want to put yourself against the best. To be the best, you got to beat the best, and so we know those two programs are playing at a higher level than us the last few years. So that's a help for us because that's a measuring stick statewide, and then it's also rival-wide. So it's a good thing for us.
Yeah, and then kind of building off that, just I'm not sure how much you know about the conference and everything, how much you've looked into that yet. Obviously, one game at a time, but you got Hampton in there that's coming off one of their best seasons in a while. Baptist Prep's expected to be much better. There's we talked about Carlisle, so how familiar are you with the conference so far? Or are you just kind of focused on Hazen in your time so far?
Well, I've watched every opponent, and so to get familiar with them, and that's one of the first things I did when through the April. Been here, I guess this is my 4th month, and it's good football. It's good coaches. We got the Hooten magazine last week, and we were just talking about that this morning. We get to play 5 of the top 10 teams in AA football, and I say get to. We talked about that, didn't we, fellas? We get to. That's a great opportunity. I mean, that's an opportunity to make a name for yourself. That's an opportunity for you to revive the Hive. That's an opportunity for you to put Hazen back on the map. So we like that. We're excited by that, and it makes you better. When you play good people. Hey, you either embrace it or you run and hide, don't you? We're going to try to embrace it.
And just to the players, I'll start on this side this time. Just talk about some things. As Coach said, had 5 wins in 24, then 3 last year. What are some things going into this season that you were like, okay, after last year, I've really got to improve on this, and that's something that you focused on through the offseason?
Well, with the leadership that's been going on, it's really hard to play with terrible leadership. So we're trying to find better leadership because I feel like it'll help lead a team better. And with the people that are here today, some of them are rare finds for leadership, like a platypus. So I would say we just need more leadership.
In the past, like last year, we went 3-7, and part of that is because our line wasn't, working as how much they should have. And this year we've really been cracking down on slacking when we're in practice, when we're doing our lineman drills. We've been working on, actually doing the work instead of slacking off during it. So.
I think we just need to be held more accountable, and I feel like last year we just didn't want it enough in most of those games, and this year we're going to try to prove that. We're going to prove that we're dogs and that we're the best team in 2A.
Yeah, leadership, we've been trying to preach that all summer because the past couple of years, leadership hasn't really been our thing. So we've been trying to change that around and do our best with the people that show up and all that stuff that we can try to do to be better leaders.
Coach, one thing that's sticking out to me, you're hearing leadership a lot, you're hearing accountability. You're not hearing them blame, you're saying we have to do this as a team. I know that's got to be extremely encouraging for you, knowing that they have to own this as a group and not just a bunch of individuals.
Yeah, when we first came in, we sat down with the seniors and we had a meeting and we talked about the good and the bad, and we have a little standard leadership meeting that I've done for years and years, and that was very productive. And hey, some left, didn't they? About 3 of them hit the road. But these guys have stood up and done a great job. We've actually got a couple more that didn't handle their business right last year. You know, they've been doing better, been showing up, been doing what we ask them to do, and that starts right there with the core leadership. You know, it's their team, and you know, I am proud to hear that. We instead of me and the team, and that's the way that we'll have to play to be good, and that's the way we'll have to play to revive the Hive. And I think if we play that way, we will revive the community. I think people rally to that. I think people rally to people that work hard, people that show up, people that are concerned about others instead of themselves, and people that are disciplined. And that's what I believe in, and that's what we're trying to do, and hope we get blessed with good results of it.
And the last one that I have, you know, you've been coaching this game a long time and had a ton of success doing it. As we know that, you know, things have changed. I mean, it's a lot different, even just in the last 5 years in general, like just in that time frame since, you know, you became a head coach, what was it, I guess in the late 90s, whenever that was, early 2000s. Yeah. But what are some of the things, you know, it seems like that it's not necessarily that the kids have changed so much. Maybe some of the outside surroundings, maybe social media, but, you know, what are some of the things now that you have seen, like maybe biggest changes wise?
Well, you hit it on the head. I think the heart of a kid is still the same. I think the way we've raised kids, the expectations we have for kids, the accountability for kids. I think of course, the recruiting is huge now. You know, that used to, I mean, you got a kid in 7th grade, you knew you were going to coach him through senior high. And, you know, now there's so much recruiting going on, and there's so much, you know, if you hold a kid accountable, a lot of coaches coach in fear. You hold a kid accountable, they may leave, they may go to your rival. And so sometimes, you know, I think that's changed the profession. You know, in some of the profession is not as honorable as it used to be. I think that you're squeezed a lot with so many different factors. The heat protocol. You know, your school starts early. But you're trying to train a team with PD, with school starting. You know, we've got 25 kids. You know, and you're trying to get them in shape. You get squeezed on all ends. You know, it's a society change, but I always say this, and this is not change. You know, kids want to be remembered. It's a time in their life that they'll look back on the rest of their life. And down deep inside of a man, you want to do something memorable, and you want to do something memorable with other people. You know, there's just something to be said for that. So that hasn't changed. It's just a little bit harder to develop it. Technology, unbelievable how that's changed. You know, from the huddle where you push a button, and the technology is out of this world. What they're exposed to is out of this world. You know, like you mentioned with the social media. So it's been a lot of change. It has, but it all comes down to this: you're trying to make better men. You know, you're trying to make better men. That was my goal in '98. That's my goal in 2026. You know, sometimes the support is not there. You know, it's what have you done for me lately? It's what have you done for my son lately? A lot of interference there. You know, used to you had a chain of command, and you knew if you pleased your superintendent, then you were in good shape, or your principal. You know, and then it got to be you got to please a board. Then it's got to be you got to please a booster. So you got so many bosses, and if you stick to your standards and you stick to your discipline and your structure and the way somebody's always going to be mad at you, and a lot of times you don't even know who that is. So those are a lot of things that I've seen change in my time. But I'm still proud to call myself a coach. I'm still blessed to be a coach. I'm still blessed to work with young men, and I'm going to keep doing what I believe in and keep trying to mold men until I die of a heart attack. That's how I told them. I said, y'all gonna kill me with a heart attack, but I'm not having many heart attacks anymore, Emma. So we're getting better. So I'll do it and do what I believe in. And like I said, I may have to move 3 more times to get my years in or till I die. But I'm gonna do what I believe in. And we're gonna try to mold men, try to build teams.
All right, fellas. Excellent job. Really appreciate y'all coming.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate it.
Sir.
Our next team up on the stand is Coach Jason Mitchell and the Whitehall Bulldogs. Coach, I'll turn it over to you for your opening statement and introduce who you brought with you.
Yes, sir. First off, we appreciate y'all inviting us, First Community Bank, and inviting us to Big Miller Days today and representing our school and community. Just been working on ourselves this year. Got hired in April and trying to get the kids in shape and ready to rock and roll. Just a little bit about our football team. We're going to be very young. We got 2 returning starters on offense, both of them receivers. No starting offensive lineman coming back. We don't have a quarterback. We graduated a 2-year starter at quarterback. Defensively, we got 2 returning starters back that started from the very beginning. We had to sprinkle some young kids in, but towards the end of the year, but the 2 starters coming back this year. So we're kind of starting over without starting over. The defensive system is going to stay the same, so that helps us some with our 9th grade group moving up. Offensively, we'll have to make some adjustments scheme-wise, which has been going well. The guys with me today, I'll start on the end down here. First off, we got 12 seniors on our football team. 5 of those seniors have been in the program since the 7th grade, and that's what we want. We want to build that continuity in our program to where we get classes of 25 and 30 that have been with us since the 7th grade. 5 of those coming back. We got 3 from basketball decided to come out of the gym. And that was awesome because it's hard to get basketball players to come out of the gym sometime, but when they get out there, they realize they love it. We got 2 kids that came back, didn't play their junior year, but came back, and then we got two guys that moved in. We got Corey Hope on the end. He's one of our basketball guys. Finally talked him out of the gym. It's been a 2-year process of trying to get him. We really don't know where he fits in yet. He's going to be an athlete for us. He's tried a little quarterback. He's tried a little receiver, outside linebacker. We're just going to try to get him out there and get him some playing time and see what he can do for us. Jaden Gorman here is going to be he's one of our returning starters on defense. Mike linebacker led the team in tackles last year, but we want to improve on that. So he knows that the sky's the limit for him. And then we got Ed Hohabu. Don't say that 3 times too fast. All right, Ed's been with us since the 7th grade. Played some safety last year. We're going to roll him down, play some outside linebacker. We got some young guys back in the backfield that can help us, and I think that's been a good fit for Ed so far. And then we've got special team wise, we got to replace an all-conference punter, 2-year punter. So it's not that we're starting over, but we're starting fresh.
You start fresh with a program that you have some familiarity with. What can you say about the program as a whole as you try to build it up?
Well, the first thing we want to do is we want to get involvement. We want kids out of the hallway and playing. And so right now we got 70 kids in off-season football, and that's up 20 to 25 from last year. So you get kids out and you get them excited about football, and just finished my 7th year at Whitehall. So I was there. We finished runner up to PA 4 years ago. And we had some troubles go down in the program, and it hadn't been as sterile. We're going in the wrong direction, and we want to try to build it back up in the right direction. And we know Whitehall can be about that.
When you look at your schedule, obviously week 0 game at Sheridan is a big one, and players, you can get on this as well. What does it mean to play in the rivalry game that is so close that people from each community?
Real quick, I'll let somebody take over, but it's being 30 miles west down 270, there's a lot of them. There's a lot of them that we know, and a lot of them see we quite often, and I'll let Jaden talk a little bit about that rivalry.
Do I just go up here?
It's all
so I don't know where to start, but I love that game against Sheridan. It's very I really don't know what to say, but it's just an intense game, and it's a very important game that we win that game and move to the next one and just get better. But I'll have to pass that over.
Corey, you want to add on to that?
Yeah, I can add on a little bit to it. Coming out of basketball and coming into this brotherhood, the rivalry games was always something we looked forward to in basketball. The atmospheres, the fans, playing against people it's really just a surreal moment, being in those big games and wanting to make the big plays and things of that nature. You just live for those games.
you look at your conference as a whole. Obviously, Lakeside is a pretty heavy contender. What can you say about the 5A South as a whole?
Well, everybody says, hey, you're moving from the 5A Central to the South. It's going to be better. Is it? Is it going to be better? I don't think it's going to be better. I mean, you got Coach Rockwell at Lakeside. You got Coach Burnett at Hot Springs that are building programs. Back when I was in Pine Bluff, we coached against Coach Littlejohn. They got the Texarkana job. You watch Magnolia, and then DeQueen hires their junior high coach. It's not going to get any easier. And the road trips don't get any easier. You travel an hour up to Little Rock or 45 minutes, and now you got to go 3 hours to Texarkana. And I've competed against Texarkana as a coach, and there's always a good football team down there. And then you got Camden and Coach Carter coming from Marion, and Coach Vaughn left him. I'm sure he didn't leave the cupboard empty. And so it's going to be every Friday night. It's going to be a battle for us, and we just hope to go out and compete.
For the players, what have y'all tried to work on as individuals and really embrace the team on this offseason to take the next step at Whitehall?
This offseason, we've been working on a little things so far, getting the weight room, conditioning, doing little things to get us better.
We also have been studying, watching film, and just getting better overall. And then just making sure everybody's doing the right thing and not playing around and just trying to get better day by day.
To piggyback off of both of them, just focusing on the little things. We know that it's going to be, hard at first, but, just focusing on the little things and taking it day by day and continue to motivate each other each and every day.
We mentioned the 5A South, but besides the Sheridan game, you have two 4A8 teams in your non-conference that don't seem to get any easier. Two teams that scored a lot of points last year in Hamburg and Stuttgart. What can you say about those two home non-conference games?
Well, then let's not forget about the scrimmage. We play Monticello in the scrimmage, so we're going to play three of the top teams in the 4A8, and but that's what you want. I mean, you want to use the non-scheduled, the non-conference schedule to get ready for conference. It's one of my best friends is at Hamburg, and I know he's got them rolling. Got a lot of respect for Coach Price at Stuttgart, and we saw them at team camp, and his son can spin it, and he is, and they're going to be legit. So, do we go in and do we worry? Yes, we worry about Sheridan, we worry about Hamburg, we worry about Stuttgart, but we're going to spend those weeks worried about ourselves, and then because the ultimate goal for these seniors is they've never been in the playoff. They've never got to play football in the middle of November. And that's something that's their goal. I mean, I know some people set their goals as state champions, undefeated. We just want to be able to make a playoff run. And you never know, when you get to the playoffs, you never know what's going to happen.
For the players, I'll finish up with this one. What is one thing y'all have taken from Coach Mitchell to really apply to yourselves?
Just working hard. We've been working hard every day, just trying to get better.
Basically the same thing as he said, just get better every day and just do the little things right and just keep improving day by day.
To piggyback off what they said, just getting better each and every day. Me coming from basketball, I would like to be, a bucket, hold all the information that I can keep in, learn from the guys around me. So, yeah.
All right, we appreciate y'all coming up.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all. Appreciate you.
Beard.
our next team up on the stand is Coach Justin Hamilton and the Perryville Mustangs. Coach, I'll hand it over to you for your opening statement and introduce the two guys you brought with you.
Perfect. I want to start off by saying thank y'all for doing this. This is great for Arkansas High School football. I want to thank God for this opportunity, and Coach Norton and Coach Campbell down at Perryville. Today I've got Jesse Judy and Avery Bowie with me, both seniors. Avery's our O-line, D-line guy, and Jesse, he's been playing a little bit of everywhere for us, offensively and defensively, and we have a good group going into this season. We're very excited, and we're looking forward to competing.
So obviously you're pretty fresh at Perryville, haven't been there very long, but what can you say about like the community and just the program as a whole right now?
Yeah, the community has been very supportive. You know, they've shown up at all of our events, showing up, watching us practice, shaking our hands when we're getting off the field of practice, you know, and they have high expectations, ready to get back to competing, and I believe that this group is going to be able to do that and give back to the community that's been so supportive of us.
So you're in the 3A4 again, but there is some change. Magna Cove leaves the conference. You add a couple of members. What can you say about the conference?
Yeah, I think the conference, you know, top down is going to be pretty competitive. You know, talking to the coaches in the conference, so we're all kind of on the same page. You know, you have to show up every week and you have to give it your all. I don't think there's just any clear-cut winner in the conference, and I think there's a lot of us that are going to be battling it out week in and week out. And I think we're going to have to really show up and compete every week.
Coach, you have a lot of returning offensive skill players that are now seniors. Can you talk about those guys? You know, one that you brought obviously, but the others that aren't here and what we can expect to see from them offensively.
Yes, sir. We've got a really good senior group. We've got a lot of guys that can play a lot of different places, just like Jesse, Isaac, and Isaac Jolly, and a couple of these other guys that can really roll, and we can put them in different spots and be successful. And you know, we're not going to be limited to by personnel. We're going to be able to show up and do different things and be explosive and be dynamic, and that's something that we're really looking forward to. Returning a lot from the previous year overall. Our junior group has a lot of returners as well, so we're really looking forward on building on that success that they had last year in close games and really trying to find a way to finish those out.
And Jesse, I want to kick it to you. Can you just follow up on what your coach was talking about, what we can expect to see from you guys offensively? I know you like to run the ball.
Yes, sir.
Looks like, you know, your quarterback's a little bit of a dual threat, but tell us what we can expect to see from you guys on the offensive side of the ball.
Yes, sir. We're going to be probably in a little heavier set, running the ball a lot more than last year. Hopefully we'll be pretty successful up front. I mean, we lost some seniors that were linemen, but we have a pretty experienced skill positions. Other than that, I mean, should be pretty good.
Coach, like you said, you're fairly new to the program, and what have you seen from this group of guys that's really shown what they want in this program?
Yeah, I think our guys have done a great job from day one showing up, you know, and that was kind of my message day one. It's just, hey, we need to compete. Like, nothing else matters. You know, I don't care if they have a scoreboard up or nothing. We're here to compete, and we're here to play. And I think the kids have really bought into that. You know, it doesn't matter what we're doing. Team camp, 7-on-7. Practicing in the yard, it doesn't matter what we're doing. We're here to compete, and we're here to find a way to win and get after it. And I think the kids have really bought into that. Our attendance has been great. You know, normally I can't stand summer football because, you know, I'm on vacation, I'm doing this, but these kids have been showing up, and they've been working hard and competing.
To the players, what is one thing y'all tried to do in the off season to take that next step? You know, 2 years ago you have the 7-win season, year before 8 wins. Kind of a rough year last year. What have y'all done to take that next step?
I think a big deal that we have improved on is leadership in the off season, the weight room, just practice every day, just being like picking up little things like carrying the waters out. Like Coach Ham makes a big emphasis on that. Super important, just little things all around. Picking up players whenever like someone's down, someone's in there all emotional or something, like over something little. It's all a work in process.
I think we've improved in the weight room and just like being consistent and conditioning and just lifting and lots of leadership.
Talk a little bit about your defense and what you return there and what you're looking like this fall.
Yeah, we've got a lot of skill in the secondary return. We've got, again, a lot of guys that can play in a lot of different places. And we're going to be very multiple on defense and have these guys be able to fly around and make some plays. I do believe on defense, putting those guys in the best place for them to succeed and make some plays and not just being static. We got personnel, Tanner, Fritz, he's our quarterback safety. He's kind of leading the charge back there, getting us lined up. We've got a whole bunch of dynamic guys. Hoyt, Howard, he's going to be great at linebacker. Play him all over the place. He may even be lined up at corner a little bit this year and just kind of just all over the place, just like Jesse.
So when you talk about Perryville, you mentioned the community earlier. This players and Hamilton can answer. What have you haven't seen Perryville on a Friday night just yet, but from the players, what does it mean to have that community support behind you? When really in Perryville, it feels like the stands are like right on top of the field.
I mean, it honestly, like, my favorite time of the year for football season is the Bigelow week because it's always packed game. Like, the fences just full of people all around. There's not a spot in the stands that are open. That's my favorite part about the community. I mean, they show support every time we need anything. We always have someone in the community to help us with literally like anything. It's great having Perry County behind us.
And I'd have to agree with Jesse with how the bleachers are always filled and that we always have lots of help around on Friday nights.
All right, we appreciate y'all coming in.
Thank y'all.
Sir, thank you.
Our next team taking the stand is Coach Ron Morrow and the Batesville Pioneers. Coach, have your opening statement and introduce who you brought with you.
Well, thanks for having us. This is always a fun deal to come. Thanks to First Community Bank, Kerry Price, and Mr. Cole and Mr. Dover putting this stuff on. They're huge supporters of us in Batesville. I've got 4 seniors with me. They're all 3-year starters. They're leaders on our team. I can't think of a day that they've ever missed. So great representatives of our program and our town, and I'm proud to bring Bryce Smith with us, Brody Fulbright, Rourke Severe, and Xavier Pierce.
So you have a lot of returning production. What can you say about that?
Yeah, no, well, I mean, we have a big senior class, so we've got 19 seniors on the team. So anytime you have a class that there's 19 seniors, you got some high expectations, especially with a lot of kids that have, returning starters. We've got 3-year starters. We've got some kids that have been had some baptism by fire as young players, and now they're seniors, and seeing them grow up through the program, and watching them. A lot of these kids I had in elementary school whenever when I first came over here. So now seeing them as seniors, it's really special. So no, we've got I think 8 returners on defense and 7 on offense. So, and that's including Bryce. Bryce missed his junior year from an injury, and he'll be back with us this year.
So when you look at your schedule, obviously week 0 against Searcy, that's a big game. Searcy, one of the teams slated to be pretty good. What can you say about your schedule as a whole and the 5A East?
Yeah, no, I mean, what's the most important game? It's the first one for us, and it's always Searcy. We played Searcy whenever I was in school. If you ask Coach King, we've been playing them since Moby Dick was a small minnow. So that's one of his sayings that he's always said. You get into the 5A East play, and there's never a week that you're like, you can just kick your feet up and think that you're going to win every game that we play. We're going to have our best effort. And, these guys here, they're dying to answer some questions. Hey, you can ask me all the questions you want, but, hey, I promise you they are ready to answer some questions. So please fire some at them.
Well, I'll tell you what, right at it. So, we know over the past several years, most of the state hasn't gotten to see that matchup that we like to see, which is what you guys like to play, right? The team up the hill, right? But don't get to play them this year. But what's that one game that maybe slipped away from you last year, or maybe they beat you pretty good last year that you guys, you just can't wait to get back up on the field again this year? That's the one when you've been in the weight room and it's 96 degrees, that's the game that you're thinking about.
I didn't play at all last year. I was hurt, but I'm definitely ready for Valley View. It's always a tough game, but I'm excited to play.
Like Bryce said, I'm also ready for Valley View.
I'm ready for Newport. It's one of the oldest rivalries in Arkansas. It's just a real big game for us and really means a lot to us.
Newport, they beat us bad my freshman year, so I really want to get out there and get my revenge.
I got you. So you two guys said Newport. Sounds like they beat you pretty bad. You want to get that revenge. But you two guys said Valley View. What's big about that Valley View game? Why do you two want to get back on the field for that one?
Well, it's going to be our senior night, so expectations high. Valley View's always good, so we're out here trying to prove something.
Yeah, it's a home game, so we got the whole hometown crowd coming out, and I think we just are ready to perform.
You make it to the first round of the playoffs last year. I have to go to Greenbrier, but to the players, obviously making the playoffs is big, but you want to get past that first round. What is something y'all have done in the offseason? Obviously, coming off injury is big, but what is something y'all have done to better yourself and better the team as players?
We're up at 6:30 ready to go every morning. So every day during the summer we're ready.
I think we've got better team chemistry this year. We've got a lot of guys that are played together for a while. Our offensive line, Bryce over here, I've grown up with him my whole life. We got a lot of team chemistry, 3-year starters and stuff like that. So I think, everybody coming in and working during the off season is really going to come into play.
Like Bryce said, we're up at 6:30 every morning, 5 days a week, just working to get better and improve the team.
Our stretching and coaching staff, we've been doing better when getting stretching and stuff like that. So it's good for us.
Severe, you're the one All-State returning player at linebacker. What can you say about this defense this year?
This defense is pretty much led by our defensive coordinator, Kevin Youngblood. He's an amazing coach, pushes us to be the best we can be.
Coach, speaking of that defensive side, you led by a great linebacker. Who else are we going to see on the defensive side that that you didn't bring here with you today?
Yeah, you bet. And kind of echoing what Rourke said about Coach Youngblood, he's an excellent X's and O's coach, but he's a better relationship builder with kids. And our program has gotten so much better since Coach Youngblood's got on. We're lucky to have him. But when you return 8 starters on defense, and Xavier's a 3-year starter at corner for us. Rourke's a 3-year starter at inside linebacker. Rourke led the state in tackles last year. That was even after, we only played in the first round of playoffs. That was even once everybody got done playing. He led the state in tackles as a junior. So those 2 guys are huge for us. We've got 2 defensive linemen coming back. Our nose guard, he don't weigh but about 144 pounds, but he's an ornery little dude. His name's Hunter Houck. He's actually coming back from Fargo, North Dakota. He went to one of the big wrestling tournaments up there. And then Darmel Wren, he's got the potentials to be one of the best defensive linemen in our conference. When he plays hard and he plays with good pad level and does what he's supposed to do in his little part of the defense, he's hard to block. We've got some young kids that are coming up. We've had 2 basically conference championship teams on our last 2 9th grade teams. So the sophomores that are coming up this year are going to step in. Parker Childers, he's going to play our kind of strong safety for us. He was our quarterback of our junior high team. His brother's our strength and conditioning coach. Hayden Childers, he played quarterback for us. That's kind of the cool thing about Batesville is we got a bunch of Batesville guys that are coaching and kind of grew up playing for the Pioneers, and are now coaching them and kind of grooming the next ones to come up. And it was a no-brainer for me to hire Hayden whenever we got the chance to hire him. And he does great with the kids, just like Coach Youngblood does. But defensively, we'll have Ryan Dale. He started for us as a sophomore last year. He's kind of a slash. He plays this, slash that, slash that. So he also plays slot receiver for us. He's a basketball player. Really good. I mean, we've got, like I said, 8 returning starters, so there's a lot of them that are going to help. So, plus the young kids that we're adding.
Well, you mentioned Parker Childers played quarterback for you in junior high. Is there still a quarterback competition going on the offensive side of the ball? Who's kind of taking the lead there? Have you named somebody, or is that still going on through fall practice?
Yeah, we graduated a 3-year starter, Cole Bentz, this past year. So, we've had the same quarterback for 3 years. So now we've got, there's 2 juniors. Michael Cheatham is one, and Hayes Kive is another. They're both really good athletes, similar body style. I would say that Michael is he's a little bit heavier. He's probably about 190 pounds, so he can run it a little bit more. He actually played a little tight end for us as a sophomore. And then we've got the 2 younger kids, the 2 sophomores, Parker and Cade Fleetwood. But to say one of them's a starter right now, no. They all do something a little bit different that the other ones can't do. So, Parker can do some things that Hayes can't do, and it's kind of a different offense whenever this one's in opposed to that one. So they're all going to kind of have a role, I believe, this year, as at least that is how it is right now.
And do you mind running through the rest of the skill positions that you have on the offensive side of the ball and some of those linemen that are here today?
Offensive line coach, I always want to talk about the linemen first. Obviously, I brought 2 of our seniors here. We also have a senior that's our center. His name's Hector Campos. He's really athletic. He's strong. I think this morning he squatted over 315 for however many reps with ease type of deal. Jameer Greer, he'll be a junior for us. He started for us as a sophomore. So we more or less have 4 returning starters, counting Bryce, because Bryce started as a sophomore, even though he didn't get to play. So anytime you get to start your team with 4 returning guys up front, it's a good place to start. So, we got those guys, and then we're kind of trying to figure out who's going to be that 5th guy. We play a lot of 20 personnel, so we'll have 2 backs in a game. One's a H-back. That's Joseph Chun. He's also going to play some defensive line for us. Our running back is going to there's not going to be one guy. I don't think anybody really does one person anymore. There's a lot of committees at the running back position. Caleb Murrah, he'll be a junior. He ran the ball for us as a sophomore last year. Parker will be able to run the ball. One of our best baseball players, I think he might be coming back. He might run the ball a little bit. So he's still kind of out and about right now, but we're hoping that, he joins back in. And then outside, we've got probably more speed this year than we've had in the last 5 years. Starting with Xavier, he was our leading receiver last year. And then Ty Reynolds plays split end for us. Orion, talked about him. He's a flanker. And Kendall Johnson is a sophomore that could turn out to be one of the best players that's ever come through Batesville when it's all said and done. And that's saying a lot. Not just because of the ability he was given, but because how he works. He's a great receiver. He's one that works hard all the time. Very smart. I think he's above a 4.0, and he's going to be a playmaker for us on offense for sure. So, but we're blessed to have great kids. I mean, Batesville, there's no better place in the world to coach and to live. It's an amazing town. We got great support. If I need to call anybody to ask them for anything, they're like, yeah, Coach, what do you need? It's the best place in America to live is Batesville, Arkansas. So, but that's all I got to say about that, as Forrest Gump would say.
All right, we appreciate y'all making the drive down.
Yes, sir. Go Pioneers.
Our next team up on the stand is Coach Devin Ball and the Junction City Dragons. Coach Ball, I'll give you the floor. Introduce who you brought with you and have an opening statement.
Well, first and foremost, appreciate all of y'all for what you've been doing the last 3 years with this Big Miller Media Day. It's been a fantastic event, and us taking that nice little trot, about 2.5 hours up here to get here and get it done. To my right here at the end, I've got Delonte Duff. I've got Nemo Caldwell. To my left, I've got Aiden Burden. I've got Jermaine Kennedy right here at the very end. Just kind of touching on last year. Obviously, we weren't all lolly and jolly. Got my word in at the end of the season, but we had a 10-win season, a conference championship. Most programs they'll take that as a marquee year. For us, it's coming up short. That's the way we perform on and off the field. We want our best foot forward and doing the best we can for each other in all aspects of the game and who we are in our brand of man. With this group, it's been the most fun, fruitful summer of my time at Junction City. We're not having to pull teeth to get them there. They understand what we're doing from a standard perspective, the things that we put to the forefront, and they have done a wonderful job. I can't wait to watch them play.
So you do return some in Nemo Caldwell and Duff, but there's obviously other people. What do you have returning that you look for on-field production this year?
Man, we're loaded. We reload every year. That's kind of our mentality. That's attributed to the weight program, the things that we put to the forefront. Again, these guys are so bought in because when we got here, this was my first class of 9th grade guys. So they've been through the heartbreak of the Conway Christians, of the Glen Rose in 3A, and then obviously last year to the state champion Cross County. But with that, I've got a 3-year starter, really a fringe 4-year guy, Nemo Caldwell. He comes back to man that tight end spot. He's done a great job for us on and off the field. He's a 3-sport kid, and he's one of our greatest leaders we got. Jermaine Kennedy will take over at quarterback, but started a strong safety after returning to us from venturing off to Houston. The guy is a tremendous competitor. He runs our offense very smoothly. Coach Morphus does a great job of putting him in good spots, and he's going to take real good care of us. Delonte Duff, this will be his 2nd year to play football. Obviously a very highly recruited guy, but he's a great man too. He's a guy that we can count on. He's put his best foot forward and put a priority on his list to win a state championship and then also be the best leader he can be. I think the greatest portion about us as far as what return is guys like Zamundre Gray and Jaden Malone over there who, again, have been through the last 3 years of ups and downs and felt the highs and lows of what the game can bring. And those guys are going to do a great job for us. And then, again, a guy like Melvin Smith, who we expect to take over for Deuce Singleton, who we lost, who was a 4-year guy. We have everything in place and feel like we can do a great job and finish off the business we had from last year.
Coach, just for you, speaking of the ups and downs, how do you kind of work with your athletes just on the mental side of it?
We really created a system, from the faith base over to courage, adapt, overcome. Those 4 standards are what we come back to every year. Even when the season ends, as it begins, we put those 4 things to the core of the program. So whenever we do venture off into the different variations of life and the things that we decide we want to do as men, we come back to that and we hold it true to each other because of our brand of man. It means the world to these guys to be successful on and off the field, and their parents trust us, the community supports us, and with that, we don't feel like we can fail in any way.
To the players, obviously you want to win a state championship. You get a conference title last year but can't get over Cross County. What is something as players y'all have done in the offseason to take that next step to go back to Little Rock as a Dragon?
Oh, we've been in the lab 24/7. We've been grinding, getting to work, getting more coachable, and understanding all of the plays and all that stuff.
Yes, sir. Going along with Nemo, we last year we ended out short. This year putting in the work, grinding, listen to our coaches, learn the offense, learn everything, get right.
Last year, coming in as a sophomore, I had a lot to learn, but this year coming back, my sophomore class is, I don't know, the whole team is just willing to learn and getting better every day. So
last year coming in against Cross County when we lost, it did something to me. So in the offseason, I wanted to lift more, help my team out and be coachable more, and go back to win the title.
This question's to the players as well. Your coach talked about a little bit about community, how well you guys are supported. I want to hear from all four of you, and then Coach, if you don't mind to follow up. You know, you guys are young. You may or may not be aware of the 75-year just history and tradition of Junction City football. It's a really special place. But I'd love to just hear from you guys. Just talk about the community support and the pride of playing for Junction City and that history.
Oh, the community is very good. Especially the first opening home game. It's amazing. The crowd's there. Everybody's there. Children. Everything. It's just loud. Love the atmosphere out there.
Yes, sir. To be in a town like that and be a good football team is great. You walk around, get all the praise and everything. It makes you want to do better in general and go off somewhere and just make the city known.
Being out there, everybody knows each other. Everybody knows everybody. So you go out there and you play football and you come back and it's like you get awarded for doing something good. So
our biggest help from the community is the kids. When they look up to you as a senior, and this your last year playing ball.
Yeah, iron sharpens iron, right? There's a forge down there that is completely behind everything that involves the advancement of our brand of man. That's why it has such traction. That's why the dynamics of it lead to success in all sports. But the football team sets the tone every year for the community. Every business is closed when we get ready to play on Friday nights. There's not a former Dragon, a current one, or a future one that isn't bought into what we're doing. And, you know, that's really the key to what we're trying to accomplish here. It's more than football. Again, our brand of man is what we're looking to inspire the next generation of and make the formers proud of what we've done and continue to TTAU and everything we do.
Can you talk a little bit about your schedule? You have go to Smack over the non-conference, also go down to Louisiana for a game, and then the 2A3 as a whole.
That's right. Harmony Grove has been a rival to us, per se, for many years. They're a 3A opponent right up the road. We're going to play them every year as long as I'm here. They'll play us their best, even on their worst. That week one matchup will be on a Saturday at 7:30 in Smackover. We kicked it over to Saturday. You know, we really think that for our kids, it's great to put them in the spotlight because there's not a whole lot to offer down in South Arkansas, as most know. And so everything we have is centered upon them, what they're doing and their success. Coach Harrison and I agreed, 7:30 on Saturday. Hogs play at 2 o'clock, I think, or 1 o'clock, so y'all can make the game. I know there's people out there wondering, Saturday. Yeah, we're going to play on Saturday at 7:30. We'll probably be the only game playing in the South at that date, and it should be packed out, but we really want to put our best foot forward there. And again, they beat us last year. We felt like we lost the game more than we got beat. We look forward to putting them to rest when we get after them on Saturday. Haynesville, Louisiana, won a state championship last year. They're always a power. If we're going to be a state championship ball club, we've got to be able to put our best foot forward against them guys. We've got to give them our best and try to get us a win under our belt. I think in that, win or loss, our guys will feel the energies that are appropriated and needed for them to push through into December 4th and to finish the job.
One last thing.
Oh, last thing. Rising on the road will be a tough game. That road game right there is about as hard of a road game you can ask for after those opponents. They're doing a great job up there. They run the double wing offenses, which was what put us away last year with Cross County. So when our guys see ball clubs that run that type of approach, we kind of get to gritting our teeth and we really want to hit them in the mouth. So looking forward to that one as well.
Did you schedule that on purpose?
The Rising game, you know it. You said something about 75 years of history. I was in the 9th grade, looking back on some tape when I first got to Junction, and remember watching a 10-0 win for Rising in the semis back in 04-ish or somewhere like there, and realizing just how much, again, to your point, these roots are implanted from the program, and what it would mean for us to go out there and take care of business against opponents like Grove, Smackover, Haynesville, and then Rising consecutively. If that don't charge your motor up to try to get all the way down there and get it done in the end, I don't know what will. So yeah, what we saw Rising there. Coach agreed to it. Coach Morphus did a great job of getting that scheduled. We couldn't find a game at first because we only have 7 teams in our conference this year. Same with the North, 2A1. Well, we somehow organized a deal where we were going to just alternate off bye weeks and play them. I think Mount Ida had somebody on our schedule. That's who we were going to end up playing. So they're taking on that opponent. We got a hold of Rising, and they agreed to play us. So, yeah, we think that is a formula for success for us. That way our guys know they've been tested throughout the year. There won't be any doubt about what good or great is, and that'll bring out the best in our men. I know that.
You know, I'd like to just kind of finish up. I'd like to hear from each one of the fellas here. What's that word or that phrase that you guys have just been hanging on all summer throughout practice? Through, you know, when you're in the gym and in the weight room and it's 97 degrees, you know, what's that phrase that you guys are using as a team?
Unfinished business.
Unfinished business.
TTAU.
TTAU.
We're going to leave it at the acronym, at the TTAU thing, but you could imagine, tear that, you know. You with me there? We're going to keep it where it's at. We do work for a public school, but that, just so we're clear, has been around for 75 years. So we're going to maintain that, and, you know, it's not a good or bad thing. It's the right thing for us, and we're going to keep putting that up to the forefront of everything we do. It's TTAU.
We appreciate you joining us, Coach Ball, and good luck this year.
I'm going to leave my purse.
Yeah. What's your statement? You got something you're supposed to say, don't you?
Oh, yeah. If you're wondering how I got this big, because I eat all my tangerines.
Good. Anybody else got something? They got push-ups. Go Dragons.
No, hold on.
Our next team up to the stand is the Blytheville Chickasaws with Coach Caton Hill. Coach, I'll hand it over to you for your opening statement. Introduce who you brought with you.
Well, first of all, I want to thank you all for, putting this on for the last few years. It's a great honor and pleasure to be here. We're excited about this football season. Who I have here is quarterback Chad Bell, Jordan Holton, Xavier Liddell, and Jatavian Wilson.
So obviously, new home for you coming from Cross County, coming off a state title. What can you say about Blytheville and just how it's really got started for you?
Man, really, when a lot of people ask me, man, why Blytheville? I said, why not? When Coach Pierce, the athletic director, reached out to me, I knew it was an opportunity that, first of all, was presented from God, and I was just like, man, this is an opportunity for a lifetime to go impact the young men's lives and impact another community. And as soon as I started watching film, I was just like, this is it. This is another opportunity. I've seen a lot of these guys on film and a lot of their teammates, and then when I got in front of them, I was just like, these young men are ready to work. They're ready to continue to win and build something special.
So for the players, obviously, new coach, new system, different offseason stuff. What does it look like for y'all as players, obviously returning quarterback and you, but what can you say about the offseason so far?
I mean, getting a new coach it's not nothing new to us. So it's like, I think it was just more of a fight or flight response. Was you gonna leave or stay and wait it out, see how the coach was and how hard we'll work to see how the season would be.
I feel like Coach Hill just coming in, just the energy he was bringing, and like the mentality he had. That's what really just made most players want to stay. Cause Blytheville, we ran through a few head coaches for the past few years, and like Chad said, it ain't nothing new to us. So when Coach Hill came with the energy and like his mindset to win, like his passion, it really changed about all of us, and like his potential in us, just seeing that in us, like really just pushed us to stay and to work with him.
His energy, it impacted us, cause like he made me want to stay and continue playing football, like real deal. I appreciate him for coming down and leading us. I think this offseason, it's finna be good. This season coming up, it's finna be good.
I don't even know where to start for real. When he came, it felt like home. We had a dog coming in, so I'm ready for the upcoming season.
Coach, I kind of want to follow up. I mean, it's going to be a similar type question, but just hearing these players' responses, to give you guys a little background about me, I grew up 2 blocks from Blytheville High School on Hearn Street, all right?
Oh, okay.
So
okay,
I've got some pride to see this, and then to hear Coach Hill say he wanted to go to Blytheville, and why not? Because you guys know Blytheville, I know Blytheville. It gets overlooked, right?
Yes, sir.
Everybody overlooks Blytheville. So I'd kind of like to follow up on that. What about the pride of being a Chickasaw and just that heart feeling that Coach Hill wanted to come here, right? He wanted to come to Blytheville. He wanted to come build something. Build off that. I'd like to hear from all 4 of you guys in a follow-up from Coach Hill.
Like, being the Chickasaw, I love it because it's like, don't nobody think we can do what we can do. Like, everybody always undermining us and just saying, like, just a bunch of bad kids. Why would you want to go there? Yeah, it's just our chance to prove them wrong.
Being a Blytheville Chickasaw is just something you really can't explain. Just coming from a town that's being overlooked, people talking down on us, and like the mindset that I have is to prove everybody wrong. We just did it last season. Ain't nobody expect us to do that good. Everybody thought we were finna be 0-10 on sheets. They had us losing almost every game, and what Blau do? Prove them wrong. And when Coach Hill came and the energy he brought and the way he was talking to us, just had me thinking, yeah, he the one. He the one to lead us to a state championship. Everything about Coach Hill, I really love this man, bro. And he actually cared about all of us, every single person on the team, from the smallest to the biggest. He don't care. He love every kid on this team, and he gonna treat us the same way.
Being a Chickasaw, it come with a lot. You gotta be a dog. You gotta be. He's turning us into dogs. I like his energy. I feel like this season, it's that we coming for everybody.
Well, being a Chickasaw is probably the best feelings of Arkansas football, for real. And I hate it being overlooked by other people. It's not such a bad town. The people that don't live here, they really won't get it for real unless you live in Blauville. It's really a good city for real. Yeah.
Well, I'll come from the coach's perspective. When I think about and research the history of what the Chickasaw Nation means, it's one of the most intense tribes in the Indian Nation, and it wasn't the biggest. If you look and research, the Chickasaw tribe wasn't the biggest, but they were one of the most powerful, and that's something that that we've instilled with the staff there, and told these young men that we're going to have intensity. We are going to represent, first of all, yourselves, your family, but also you're going to represent the city of Blauville. You're going to represent what's across your chest. And we always say the saying, we over me. We always say, we got bands that say next play. And it doesn't matter what happens. Hey, something just happened, next play. And that's the thing that these young men, they have a 1-0 mentality, and they have a next play mentality. And that's the thing that they're figuring out, and we're going day by day getting better.
You look at the 4A3, obviously this is a new conference to you. But when you just take a look at that schedule, what's really the first game that really pops off the schedule to you?
Well, first of all, before we even get to the conference schedule, we got to handle non-conference. And that non-conference schedule is a bugaboo. You got Osceola, who's a county rival. Coach Hooks has done very well there for the years he's been there. Then you got Nettleton, that's with Coach Hampton. They were always good. And then you have Little Rock Mills, who is very dynamic. So those 3 non-conference games, I've told those young men, buckle up and buckle on your hats. But thing is, we're going to battle. Now, you're going into the conference. You got a new team in Forest City. Forest City is dynamic as any team in Northeast Arkansas. They're always going to have athletes. They're going to be fast. They're going to be physical. They're going to be well coached. And Coach Wilkins has done a great job. You have Batesville Southside with Coach Kenny Simpson. They run a very complex offense with the gun tee, and they run it to perfection. So, and they're very physical, very well coached. And then you have Pocahontas with Coach Chester. Coach Chester, I know him from just being around track and stuff like that. And he always has Pocahontas very physical, very disciplined, and Highland. Coach Sterling Stowers, we were college teammates at Arkansas State, and so he's a Highland guy. So he's very proudful of where he's from, and he has brought their program a long way. And then you have Truman. Truman has always been very good in Northeast Arkansas. And then West Side, Coach Connor Hagg, who's a new head coach. We coached together at Cross County for the last few years, so I'll be looking. That'll be a game I'll be looking forward to as well. And then you have Gosnell. Gosnell is the crosstown rival, and everybody knows that Blauville and Gosnell is the head butter. And Coach Smith has done well in the last since he's been there. And that 4A3, I told somebody, I said the 5 teams that made the playoffs last year, every team won their first round game besides one team. So that tells me that that conference is very heavy slated. So there is no, as I've heard coaches say all day, there is no time for rest. There is no time to take off a week. You got to be ready to play. You can't take plays off. You can't take weeks off. It got to be a 1-0 mentality.
All right, I'm gonna finish it up here. I want to hear from each of the fellows. What's that one game? That one game you looking forward to getting back onto the field this fall?
I want to see Gosman.
I ain't gonna lie, I would love to play Gosnell one more time and get that dub up off them.
I want everybody.
I'm gonna say Nettleton.
All right, we appreciate Coach Hill for coming down from Northeast Arkansas and joining
Thank
us
y'all.
today.
Thank y'all.
Arkansas Select Volleyball Club focuses on personal and athletic development of our student athletes and creates a safe, positive, and effective learning environment in which student athletes strive to achieve individual excellence within a team dynamic. We view the volleyball court as our classroom, transformed to teach lessons of character, discipline, respect, responsibility, accountability, commitment, leadership, work ethic, teamwork, courage, integrity, communication, the importance of sacrifice and sportsmanship, plus many other important values on and off the court. Search Arkansas Select Volleyball online or visit our Facebook page, Arkansas Select Volleyball, to find out more.
Welcome back. Our next coach on the stand is Adam Kirby from Magnolia Panthers. Coach, I'll turn it over to you. Opening statement and introduce the 4 players you brought here today.
Yeah, this is just an awesome event for us to be here for Arkansas high school football. Thanks to everybody for putting this on, our sponsors. I was joking with Kyle the other night, a couple nights ago, that, it kind of makes you feel like, for a small town high school football coach, it makes you feel like you're at SEC Media Days, So it's a great event when you're here, getting to see your coaching buddies, getting to hear how everybody feels about their summer workouts, their season. But that also means that the season's right around the corner, and that's what everybody's looking forward to. Summer's a good time to build your team and your identity, but at the end of the day, we get into this business to coach, and the kids play the game to get to go out there on Friday nights and represent their towns, and so that means it's closer when we get to media days, so it's always an exciting time to be here.
So who did you bring here with you?
Yeah. So my right to my left, I've got Jackson Wolfley. He's a senior offensive lineman for us. Jacaden Grissom, senior defensive lineman for us. KJ Jones, senior defensive line. And then Jeremiah Cooper, senior running back.
So when I first take a look at your schedule, pretty good non-conference. You've got El Dorado, who is suspected to be much improved under Coach Shockley there, and then you've got Nashville, Coach Cheshire, trying to get the wheels rolling that bus, and then you go down to Louisiana. What can you say about that non-conference to test your guys?
Yeah, we're really excited about it. I mean, that's 3 really good quality opponents. Coach Shockley, I've known him a long time. We're both former college O-line coaches, so that's how we kind of linked up. And then when he got that job, us being so close, it kind of made sense to us. It'll be a fun little rivalry to be a part of. Both of our kids, both fan bases know each other. We've played them in JV. We've played them in junior high, so we figured why not play them on Friday nights. So, and then Nashville with Coach Cheshire, he's going to have his guys ready. They're very well coached, do a good job. And then going to Mansfield, Louisiana. I've known Coach Barbay a long time, having both of us been in Louisiana previously. That was a 9-10 win football team last year, went to the 3rd round of the playoffs. So we really wanted to test our guys early. We had Hamburg, Bauxite, Nashville the last 2 years, which are good quality opponents, and we wanted to keep good quality teams on our schedule to get us ready for 5A South. And so when you can keep Nashville on it, add a good team like Mansfield, and then bring in a fun rival like El Dorado, so it just made a lot of sense to us, and I know our kids are fired up to get the opportunity to play those guys.
To the players, y'all have had 3 consecutive 5-win seasons. What is something y'all are working on in the offseason to try to get over that hump and get to the next level?
At the end of the day, it's just the little things that matter. Little details, every day counting in the weight room, stuff like that. That's what's going to get us over those 2-point losses that we've had last year. And those are we believe, will get us to the playoff.
Just trying to prove everybody wrong, and compete every day and work hard.
I feel like for us, we've been working on staying together as a brotherhood, and Coach Kirby's been helping us stay together, always keep our head up in the dog fight, keep competing. And we got a lot of guys that just love to play football this year, we were just ready to show what we can do to everybody.
Yeah, like piggyback on what he said, we got a lot of people who love football,
Coach, you brought Cooper here with you on the offensive side of the ball. What are the skill players that didn't make the trip today that we're going to hear about on Friday nights?
Yeah, we're pretty, we feel pretty good about our running back group. Offensively, we'll start there since that's where Coop's at. Cooper was a huge asset to us last year, played a lot of minutes, had a lot of big-time carries for us, gave us a spark last year, and this year he knows he's transitioning to being one of the guys for us in our double wing. Jamaje Marshall was an all-state running back for us last year, averaged 8 yards a carry, ran for, I think, 17 touchdowns, had about 1,300 yards. We've got Tice Jackson, can play back for us, any of them. He can play fullback, wing back. Logan Clack, we've got a young buck coming up, junior, DJ Martin, I'm really excited about. We've got another one, Jax Boring, who's going to be a sophomore, that played a lot on our freshman team. So we're pretty excited about our running backs. And then skill-wise, on the defensive side, we've got Cade Manuel back at corner. That other corner, we've got a couple guys competing for it. One name you need to be on the lookout for is QJ, Quentin Alexander. He's a good player for us. He's kind of come on as of late. And then in the secondary, we've got Amari Scott, who we're really excited about well. So one thing about Magnolia, you look at our track team, we've always had speed. We've just got to do a better job with coaches. We're not going to sneak up on anybody this year with the double wing. We've got to do a better job with everybody having our tape of getting those guys, those athletes out in space and letting them, do what they do best with that football.
You mentioned all the running backs you got. Your fullback in that double wing offense. Has anybody won that quarterback battle yet?
Not yet, no. I mean, we've still got a couple weeks. We go to year-round school, so we'll start school next week. I mean, we're in it a little bit quicker than everybody else, but with the fullback with Tyson, Logan Clack, and then at quarterback we've got Tucker Venable, Titus Nelson, and Lincoln Nelson, and all three of those guys are getting quality equal reps. They're all very capable of leading the offense. Right now what we're doing for me as the head coach and our offensive staff, we're just kind of looking at who leads the team the best. And they know that. That's the number one thing is not necessarily what you can do or how you can do it. Who gets the best out of his teammates and who can get his teammates to rally around him and who can lead them in tough times. So we've tried to put them, all three of them, in some adverse situations to see how they're going to handle it in practices. Maybe down by 4 and you got a minute and a half left. You got to drive the team down the field or things like that. So one of those guys has got to win the team, and undoubtedly we're going to have somebody start against El Dorado. But right now I'm not confident enough to say who that's going to be. They're all still competing for it. They're all doing a really good job, and all three of them are great kids and great young men that I think are capable of doing it.
I'd like to hear from the players from all four of you guys. What's that one game or a couple of games that, kind of slipped through the crack maybe last year that you're just, man, you've been working all off season, and those are the ones that you're just ready to get back on the field and play?
The Camden game.
Hot Springs.
Yeah, Camden and Hot Springs, both 2-point losses. I mean, we're really ready for them.
Yeah, those answers were quick, right, from those guys. So a couple of super close losses, but
back to back.
Yeah, super close, back to back. Go into a little more detail about why you guys were just immediately Camden and Hot Springs.
The Camden game because we let it slip away in the second half. First half we had them down 28-0. Then they just came back and hit us in the mouth. Second half. I
feel like I say Hot Springs because out of all the games last season, I feel like everybody just put all their heart and all their sweat into that game, and it feel like we should have won that game, but the field goal slipped right through us, and they got the 2-point off. Well, yeah.
Hot Springs was a very heartbreaking loss. We played hard, super hard, competed, and we just couldn't get the job done.
I especially say Camden because it came down to the wire, and we lost on a failed 2-point conversion, which is the offense side of the ball where we need to be. So I believe Camden is one that we need to be ready for this year.
To piggyback off of that, though, that's one of those two games. I mean, you have to lose close to teams like that have been consistently in the quarterfinals and the semifinals. The losses, they're not any fun. We lost both those games in the last minute. We tied Camden with, I think, a minute 4 left, missed the 2-point conversion, lost it. We took the lead on a field goal, 53-52 against Hot Springs, and with a minute 6 left, and they drove down the field and kicked a 40-something yard field goal to win it. So we're right there. We've made a lot of improvements in our program, and we've got to find a way to finish those games off to get us into the postseason.
So obviously you brought an offense and defensive lineman here. What else can you say about in the trenches in Magnolia?
They're tough. They're physical. I think they hit the nail on the head. We've gotten to the point now to where, we're up to over 100 kids in our football program, and we don't have one that doesn't love football. I mean, we've had, I don't want to put a number on it, almost every kid there every day of the summer. We go 4 days a week in the summer. We've gone to team camp, 7-on-7s. They love watching film. I'll get a text from Cooper or Wolfley because I'm primarily involved at the offense, and it'll be 11:30 at night, and they saw a play on TikTok or they saw a play on YouTube or something that looked cool. But our trenches especially, I mean, we know that we're undersized, and I don't feel bad saying that. I mean, I tell them that, they are, but I would challenge anybody to say that when you watch the Magnolia Panthers play, we don't play hard. You know, they play very tough, they're very physical. I feel like we play the game the right way. They love competing. They love the contact of the game. They love the physicality, the brutality of it. They just embrace everything that you want in a high school football player. You know, they do right in the classroom, they do right in the community, and they come to work. We have a good time. We get our work done. We enjoy being around each other, but you know, that's more of a whole team thing. But offensively and defensively, I'll say this. I mean, they play their tails off not just every Friday. I mean, it's every day. And so they're a lot of fun to coach in that regard.
To finish up, I want to ask the players, what is that like one word or phrase that you kind of stick in the back of your head when you got your back against a wall, when you know the defense has got to stand up or the offense has got to score in the last couple minutes of a game?
Our new DC coach Rob, he got a real good saying. So what? Now what? It happened. Now what you gonna do about it? It just really like stuck with me, and I just like how it controls. Like you do what you do, and then you got to see how you gonna come back from it.
One phrase that we live by is nobody and nothing. We know all we have is each other, and nobody's going to come to save us outside. So it's up to us. And so when our backs are against the wall and stuff like that, we just really fall back on each other and rely on each other to get out of that hole. Defense relying on offense relying on defense. Everybody's relying on each other. It's a brotherhood.
I would say, so what, now what? Because that happened. So what are you gonna do to counter that?
I'd say nobody, nothing, because like what he said, we have nobody to like help us down.
What about the community? Obviously, like Magnolia, it's a pretty close-knit community. What would you say about the community support behind your program?
Second to none. It is a wonderful place to coach. We have a phenomenal parents that they want their kids to coach hard, to be coached hard. They want their kids to work. You know, they'll drop them off in the morning and say, "Get after them today, coach." You know, and in 2026, I've heard, we listen to y'all on the way up. Some coaches think things have changed, and some coaches think they haven't. But our parents expect their kids to be worked. They expect their kids to be coached hard, and they know that if the coaches, you know, are loving on their kids, then they're not going to have any issues. I haven't had a parent meeting in my 3 years there to complain about playing time or how their kid's being treated or what play should be called. You know, they really get behind these kids. They support them. If we're doing a fundraiser, if we're doing anything in the community, we're there trying to help out as a football team, and then they're supporting us in return. So we've got a wonderful booster club that gets behind us, runs our concession stand. You know, there's a little place in town that coaches like to eat at. Every time we're in there, people come up and tell us, you know, ask about the team, ask how we're doing, or tell us good job. Or, you know, it's never anything negative. It's never a bad comment. I mean, we don't have any issues. We've got wonderful parents. We've got wonderful young men, and the community really supports us. I mean, it is truly one of the probably last places, talking to some other coaches from around the state, that you kind of feel like the coach has a job and the parents stay out of the way and the kids play hard. And, you know, it's blue collar mentality, and it kind of goes throughout the whole community.
I appreciate you making the pretty lengthy drive up from Magnolia today to join us.
Yeah, it was long, but it was fun. Thanks, guys.
Arkansas Select Volleyball Club focuses on personal and athletic development of our student athletes and creates a safe, positive, and effective learning environment in which student athletes strive to achieve individual excellence within a team dynamic. We view the volleyball court as our classroom transformed to teach lessons of character, discipline, respect, responsibility, accountability, commitment, leadership, work ethic, teamwork, courage, integrity, communication, the importance of sacrifice and sportsmanship, plus many other important values on and off the court. Search Arkansas Select Volleyball online or visit our Facebook page, Arkansas Select Volleyball, to find out more.
Our final coach of day one of Big Miller Media Days is Reggie Swinton and the Jacksonville Titans. Coach, I'll hand it over to you for an opening statement and introduce who you brought with you today.
All right, from your left to my right, we have Christian Johnson. We call him Dirk. Then we have Jaden Hicks. We have Mason Ball and Rayshawn Reed.
Kind of give us an overview of this team and what you have returning and what you look for in your Titans this year.
We don't have a lot of returning starters, but we have a lot of kids that can play. And so we have been working very hard, since December the 1st. These guys have put in a lot of work in the weight room. They've dedicated that themselves. They have built their bodies up, and we are definitely a much bigger team, and we are a faster team. And we're a team that can now withstand a lot of the hits that we couldn't take last year. And we can also give out some hits now. So I'm very proud of the work our guys put in body-wise and taking care of the weight room.
Coach, I just want to, before we really get into Jacksonville football this fall, what I really want to say is first, Mason, congratulations.
Thank you.
You got several other players that are going to play at all levels. Can you just talk about how important it is for you as a coach to be able to go out and seek college opportunities for these young men? Not a lot of coaches across the state do that. There's some that are great, and I think you're one of those. I run Arkansas Prep Sports. I'm on Big Miller events. That's what we do, right? That's our whole goal.
Right.
It's to connect kids with colleges. But it seems like, just you're out there doing it, and there's a few others. But just talk about how important that is as a head coach to actively seek out college opportunities for their players.
Well,
and also, I hit Mason. Would you talk about some of the other guys you have committed?
Okay. It's very important because that's most of these guys' goal. They want to play college football, and some want to play pro football. And, I think that all head coaches should make that their priority. I think if your priority as a head coach is to first win a state title, I think that's the wrong mindset to have. That's just my opinion now. We should all strive to put our kids in college and get the education and let them do what they love. Most of us did it. And that's what I strive for. And like I always say, do I want to win the state title? Absolutely. But it's way more important to me to see my kids at the next level. Right now we have 13 kids with a total of 81 offers. And that's very huge. And that's what makes kids want to play hard and hard for you when they see that you care about their future. And, I'll take Mason Ball, for example. I've been coaching Mason Ball since he was 5 years old. And of Mason's 15 offers, 14 came from my phone calls. He became a 3-star. But he got those offers with no stars. Mason became a 3-star probably about 2 months ago. So you can have these big events and big offers and all that if your coach advocates for you. And so I commend all the coaches who do it, and those who don't, hey, win your ring. But these kids have dreams.
You talk about, obviously Mason committed to Kentucky, and a lot of athletes across Jacksonville. Can you give us an overview of what you look for skill-wise this year at Jacksonville?
Well, we have. I'm very confident in my team. I'm very confident in my staff, and these guys, like all the guys you see here, and every guy in this room that you see, these 4 guys, and there's 3 guys over there. They all have offers, and so this is what's going to make us a good team. They're not jealous. They all have what they came for, and that was to get an offer. So no one cares about who shines because, man, regardless, in February, they're all going somewhere. They're all signing somewhere. Mason Hill signed early, but these guys are unselfish. And like Coach Houston Nutt used to always say to us, it's amazing what can happen when no one cares who gets the credit. When no one cares who gets the credit, everyone just goes and play ball. And I'm super proud of these guys and the whole team. We just had team camp today in Newport. So we came back and came up here. And so, you'll see the product in 36 days when we play against Stuttgart for the benefit game. And some say it's a benefit game. To me, it's a real game because it sets the tone for the rest of the season.
Coach, this one's for you as well as all the players. I'd like to hear from all of them. But last year, best season in the last 12 seasons for Jacksonville, 4-7, a great uptick from what you did the year before. What do you guys see for this season? Obviously, new conference, some new opponents in that conference. Mills, a familiar opponent to some in the Central Arkansas area, obviously. Parkview coming over to the Central. Just talk about what you guys expect from your team, each of you, and individually as well.
Okay, I'll be brief and I'll let them answer. It's definitely a tough conference. There is no easy nights. We got to work every single week and make sure our guys stay healthy because, our first game is Joe T. And, Joe T is a team that you got to reckon with. They are the state champs. And so, you know what you're getting with them. I'm talking conference play now. And then we go from there to Parkview and then Greenbrier. So our work is cut out for us. But again, these guys aren't afraid. These guys are ready.
I would say, like last year, the difference is that we are way more confident as a team. We know what we can do, and I'm not worried about anybody in our conference. I feel like we got the guys to beat anybody in the state. So we are very more confident as a team.
I can't speak a lot on last season because I wasn't here, but we've been putting a lot of work in this season, and we've been standing on top of our game, putting in work, just holding ourselves accountable. And I feel like as long as we do that, that preparation should show on the field.
Yeah, so I've been on this team the longest. I've been in Jacksonville my whole high school career, and this is definitely the biggest family I think I've been a part of in all my football years. But I'll 100% take my guys over anybody. I don't see anybody beating us undefeated.
Again, like Jay said, I wasn't here last year, but since I've joined, I felt like everybody had it on their mind as soon as I got here. So again, like Mason said, I think nobody in the conference can stop us at all.
We'll follow up on that too, because for most that may not know, Jacksonville's a unique area where it sits, the base, everything else. You got guys that weren't there last year. You're obviously building a brotherhood within that locker room. Talk about what you need to do to continue to add to the community support side of things. I've seen a lot of folks rally around you, of course, Reggie, and starting to rally around this team. But talk about what you guys are doing to really try to rally the community to follow Jacksonville and fill that beautiful stadium up.
Well, thank God for social media. You can advertise for free. And I've never seen a successful business that didn't advertise. And when you can do it for free, why not? And so a lot of people in Jacksonville follow me, and they follow the team, and they like what we're doing. And again, with Coach Vincent, Coach Newman, Coach Cunningham, Coach Dent, our coaching staff are doing a really, really, really great job in getting these kids together. Coach Bunton, our line coach, is doing a great job with our line. So the community sees it, and they're coming out, and you better believe against Stuttgart, it will be super packed in Titan Stadium. They love the guys, and we're showcasing the guys, and we're miking the guys up in practice, and we're putting them on Front Street. So we gotta show up and play.
Obviously, you mentioned some of your skill guys on the offensive side of the ball, but defensively, what does it look like for the Titans this year?
Well, our leader is Anthony Ross Jr. He's our Mike linebacker. He's here today. He's our leader. Everything that we do is around him. Our D-line, we have some guys, Doug Rogers and Kyson Patterson and Keyshawn Thompson, that's really, really good. And we got a safety on the back end that no one knows about, and he's been having a heck of a summer in Jerron Eccles. He comes downhill, and he's hitting. He's very physical. And, Malachi Chisholm, we got guys all over the field that can play. And then when you factor in putting Jacoby Boone on defense, putting Mason on defense, putting Rayshawn on defense, Jaden on defense, these guys go both ways. And so you're talking about putting a plethora of athletes on the field at the same time. Some teams believe in going one way. Hey, I believe in old school football. You put your best guys on the field and win the game. But here go the thing. We're 2 and 3 deep now. So we don't just rely on Mason Ball. Last year Mason Ball was 75% of our offense. Now Mason may be 35, 40%. Now believe this, he's getting about 15 to 17 touches a game, but I don't have to just say, hey, Mason, you got to do this. Now you got to stop Messiah Davis. You got to stop Jacoby Boone and Jaden Hicks. And our quarterback, he only got 4 games up under his belt, right? But He's a kid that can spin it, Kingston Burnett. So we're ready.
From the players, obviously 2 of you weren't at Jacksonville last year, but what does it look like for the ones that have been here since Coach Swinton took the program over?
I would say it's definitely a lot of new light. Everybody is we're definitely ready for this year. We're very excited. So
I feel like the mentality of the team has changed drastically. We came from, 8 loss seasons, going completely defeated, no win seasons, to having somebody like Coach Reggie who's come in, who's not only been where we're at, but he's even exceeded, and he's been where we are trying to go. So having a guy with a winning mentality as your head coach and putting it in all of us as, young men on our team, I feel like that's just something that's just unmatched.
Another question for the players. You look at this schedule, Coach Swinton has mentioned it a couple of times. What game really do you kind of circle and be like, man, I would really like to win that one?
I have to say, Joe T. They had a very good season last year. You honestly just got to respect them because of that. I just know that when we play them, we got to stay on our toes and make sure we're doing our assignments right. And I'm just ready to go out there and compete with my brothers.
Same thing as Jay said. I think Joe T gonna be a real good dog fight.
I'm ready for every game.
I would say Joe T too. I'm ready to go toe to toe with them for sure.
But look, we're not gonna overlook Washington Chapel and Batesville Southside and Lake Hamilton. We're not gonna overlook them. That's our first 3 games right now in conference. Then there's a bye week, and then we start conference. So those first 3 games are big, but even the Stuttgart game is big.
You've had players move in from other places. What can you say about getting the players that have come from different schools, different cultures, and getting them to buy into a program on such short notice?
Well, you have to be a coach that's relatable, and they can tell you, I play with them all day long. But they also know that I can be serious. They also know when it's time to work. Now, I was telling Ray Sean riding over here, because he and I was talking about Mason and Mason's NIL deal and what he's going to get at Kentucky possibly, and I need a loan to Mason. But I told him, I said that if you want to get what Mason got, you got to do what he did. And no kid I've ever coached works as hard as Mason, right? Like, he put the work in to get where he got. And I look at another kid like Jacoby Boone over there, like he's small. He doesn't get the respect that he deserves. But he is the most electrifying player in the state of Arkansas, not the conference. I'm talking about defense, offense, kicking game. There's no better player in this state than Jacoby Boone. And if he was Mason Boone size, he would have, Mason ball size, then he would have 15, 16 power forwards. But he's got a chip on his shoulder, and having 2 big receivers outside, Ray Sean and Jaden, those are 2 big physical guys. And we're just ready for the season. That's all I can say.
All right, we appreciate you, Coach Swinton, for joining us today, and look forward to seeing the Titans this fall.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Tighten up.
Thank you.
Tighten up.
Tighten up.
that is going to wrap up day one of Big Miller Media Days. We appreciate you joining us today. We'd like to thank Arkansas Select Softball and Blue Ember Catering Lunch and all the other great sponsors behind me. We'll be back here tomorrow, so make sure you are tuned in to Big Miller Media Days, and we will see you tomorrow.
Arkansas Select Volleyball Club focuses on personal and athletic development of our student athletes and creates a safe, positive, and effective learning environment in which student athletes strive to achieve individual excellence within a team dynamic. We view the volleyball court as our classroom, transformed to teach lessons of character, discipline, respect, responsibility, accountability, commitment, leadership, work ethic, teamwork, courage, integrity, communication, the importance of sacrifice and sportsmanship, plus many other important values on and off the court. Search Arkansas Select Volleyball online or visit our Facebook page, Arkansas Select Volleyball, to find out more.